ATAL-FDP coordinator to welcome our esteemed guests with a bouquet of flowers. Thank you, sir. I feel honored to introduce you all to our resource persons for today's session, our alumni, Mr. Kumar Sachin. Mr. Kumar Sachin is an electronics and communication engineer currently working alongside Professor Chetan Singh Solanki, known as the Solar Man of India, at IIT Bombay for the Energy Swaraj initiative, which focusing on delivering energy solution for local communities. His impressive journey also includes serving as a project enabler at EMS company in India. He is an active member of IEEE for 5 years and currently an IEEE young professional. Moreover, Mr. Kumar Sachin is a dedicated advocate for climate change awareness and clean energy solutions on a mission to create a more sustainable world. He actively engages in raising awareness, educating communities, and driving real change towards climate resilience and a cleaner energy future. His collaborations with esteemed partners including Niti Aayog, CSIR, AICTE, Earth Day Network, and many more are a testament to his commitment. In the realm of research, Mr. Kumar Sachin expertise revolves around renewable energy fields, especially in solar, wind, and hybrid power generation. His contributions include significant one on industrial projects such as design and development of hybrid controllers. With his papers published in IEEE, he achieved his first position across India by presenting a business model at Kavach Ideathon, funded by the Ministry of MSc ME GOI. Sir, I welcome you upon the stage for the session.
Hello. Hello. Good morning, all. जो सो रहे हैं वो जाग जाओ. Good morning. At the back. आज मैं पीछे वाले लोगों से ज्यादा interact करने वाला हूँ. So guys, just to start with, I'll tell you that yes, before starting, thank you for inviting me here, and thank you for a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much for having me here. And before I start, जैसा कि आप लोगों ने मेरे बारे में सुना, I am one of the alumni of this institute. So I know कि back end पे क्या चल रहा होता है, no? So I know about that. So I'll be more interactive towards those sides. So be interactive. This won't be a very, informative session. Moreover, it should be an interactive one, right? Yes or no? Seriously? Itna low energy. How are you all? Fine. What a disaster, no? This fresh morning, you're just fine. It's a big disaster. Don't you think it's a disaster? Having all the technology around, we have technology, we have internet, we have so many facilities around, having food, taking a nice sleep, and again on a fresh morning, we are just fine. I think it's a big disaster. So to listen to me, you have to be me for another, I guess, 1 hour or 1.5 hours. But trust me, it won't be boring. How many of you trust me? Thank you for putting up this trust without knowing me. Okay. So ultimately, we won't have trust issues, no? Cool. So, as mentioned, it won't be a boring session. Okay, so please be interactive because we need to understand something really important, which is impacting all of us and how technology is bringing to, combat it. So again, before I start, I guess I need to bring some energy in this BPTRC hall. Guys, how are you all? So it's again a disaster. So to listen to me, you need to be happy. So either be happy by choice or be happy by force. So which option you would like to have? By choice? तो हैप्पी रहने का क्या इंडिकेशन है? क्या इंडिकेशन क्या है? Smile on the face? नहीं, अगर if you want it to be by force, I can do it. I can do it. Yes, it's very easy. अभी लोगों को खुश करने का भी ऐसा आ चुका है कि having so much of facilities, technology around, people are still fine. It's a big disaster. I always feel. I travel around places in the country, and I feel, and this is everywhere. Going from south to north, east to west. So it's like people are just fine. तो इसलिए ऐसा नहीं होने का. What we want now to be happy. So let's make it by force. Cool? You want to be happy by force? कौन खुश होना चाहते हैं? पहले हाथ खड़े करो, please. I really want to know who all wants to be happy, including professors. जो नहीं होना चाहते, please हाथ नीचे रखिए, कोई problem नहीं है. Plus, but I really request that professors, teachers, it's my very humble request to be happy by choice or by force. Okay. So let's. सुबह-सुबह योगा कौन करते हैं? कौन करते हैं योगा? मैं तो बिल्कुल नहीं करता. But at least one yoga I always perform. हैप्पीनेस योगा. मैम आपको पता है कैसे करते हैं? नो, इट्स अगेन योगा यू हैव टू. हाँ, दिस इज वन ऑफ इट. हंसना है बिना किसी रीजन के, तो दिस इज वन ऑफ इट. अनदर वे इज आश्चर्यचकित आसन. किसको पता है आश्चर्यचकित आसन कैसे होता है? एनीवन नोज? चलो, आई विल हेल्प यू. आई विल ड्रॉप दिस माइक फॉर. तो करना क्या है? You have to put your hands like this. Okay, that's not there. So, okay, before we start, that process is happening. Also, by ready? That's me. Nobody will do anything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So by force वालों को ज़्यादा focus करेगा. I'm identifying these faces, okay? So let's be happy now. Put hand like this. जो लोग खुश होना चाहते हैं ऐसा करना है. This is, you have to do it. Professor, please participate. Okay. When I say 1, 2, 3, आश्चर्य होना है. कैसे होना है? आश्चर्य. ठीक है? तो when I say 1, 2, 3, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. हुआ? कुछ के तो smile, faces पे smile. Okay, let's do 5 times together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ready? मजा आया? मजा आया? No? Okay, so that's the best part. So put this smile on your face along with going to the presentation, talking about a very important concern, which is climate change. How many of you understand climate change? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. How many of you, it's a very simple question, how many of you understand about climate change? You don't understand? Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course. Don't need to be scientific. But otherwise, who all are familiar with the term climate change? Very few. Okay, drop down. How many of you are experiencing climate change? Raise your hands. Again, And let me tell you, it is again a big disaster if you residing in India, if you haven't experienced climate change yet. How many of you are from Pilani and nearby locations? Many. So, how many of you have observed कि Pilani का जो temperature है, it is very. How many of you? How many of you are living here for last 2.5 years or 1 year? At least 1 year. I guess most of the fresher students are here. So guys, trust me, this winter we'll have a great experience in Pilani. Okay. You feel like, some days you feel like it's Ladakh. When you'll go, and like in for a morning path when you'll go, and anyone of you, cold water to bath, you'll feel like Ladakh. That's the temperature actually over here. So sad part, like anyone would like to tell me about any of your, the ones who have raised their hands. What are your experiences? Okay. Yeah.
Basically, it used to be a heat place. So these are somewhat heat more than now. But I have seen a different experience at Corona or Corona.
Sir, I'm from South India, sir. Basically, what happens is, it is basically a heat place. Compared to Hyderabad, it is very much heat at Vijayawada because it is surrounded by all hilly areas, though, but it is at the middle of it. Like it is just like a cooker without a top.
Okay.
It is like that area. So after when the corona experience, has spread everywhere, we used to shut down everything and we came back to my home. I used to work as an engineer at Hyderabad. I came back. I couldn't even, I cannot accustom to my own place, even though I came back. But after 1 month, 1.5 months, every vehicle is shutted down. Everyone is there in their homes only. The temperature of the Vijayawada came down by at least 4 to 5 degrees. I really saw that change, and now again it went back to the same area. But from my childhood to now, it is definitely a rise in the temperature.
Okay. Very keen observation.
And one more observation I have, sir.
Yeah.
I have my wife. She's experiencing a glaucoma. This is also related to climate change. I have studied about that. Actually, everybody have a BP. For humans, there is a BP. For eye also, there is some BP. Previously, at 10 years back, the BP levels of our eye is 17, but now the standard has gone up to 20. So it is changing even our bodies are also changing according to that. So this is the changes I am observing. Even though it is like, okay, 3 बढ़ गए, कोई problem नहीं, लेकिन it is a very big problem. So that even child is also experiencing glaucoma due to the changes we are making into the atmosphere. Thank you.
Thank you. What's a good name?
My name is Surya, sir.
Surya.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Surya, for sharing your experience. Anyone else? Guys, please share it. It's more or interactive. I want to keep it discussion. I want to keep it like a discussion. Where it is about a presentation, I'll go with the presentation. But I really want to know your experience, because that accordingly I would be able to make your understanding about climate change and the technology. Who else? Okay, I'll start with my
It's me,
experience.
Sachin.
Okay.
So because we are also feeling same kind. पहले क्या होता था, जो सर्दी जो स्टार्ट होती थी पिलानी में, ये एक्चुअली अक्टूबर नवंबर नहीं आता था. पहले सर्दियां स्टार्ट हो जाती थी अराउंड एंड ऑफ द अगस्त और स्टार्टिंग सितंबर, फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ द सितंबर. So it means at the time, आज का जो टाइम है, इस टाइम पे हम जैकेट्स पहनना स्टार्ट कर देते थे, because I am from the same place, so I am experiencing the climate change. And जो season है, it is shifted by around 1.5 months.
Right.
This season is shifted by from, जैसा मेरे को समझ में आया from starting. So it means कि जो change है पिलानी के, मतलब मैं जहाँ रह रहा हूँ पिलानी के environment में, वो shift हो गया है 1.5 महीना, या और हो सकता है वो थोड़ा 2 महीने भी आगे शिफ्ट हो सकता है आगे मेरी लाइफ में. तो मैं पिलानी के एस्पेक्ट से बोल सकता हूँ कि जो सीजन है वो हो गया है. और इस साल जैसे हमने गर्मियां एक्सपीरियंस नहीं करी. इस सीजन में क्या था कि थोड़ी गर्मी हुई, रेनफॉल, गर्मी हुआ रेनफॉल, गर्मी हुआ रेनफॉल. तो हमने इस सीजन में गर्मी का जो एक्सपीरियंस पिलानी का अराउंड 50 डिग्री सेल्सियस का है, तो वो एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया। उससे प्रॉब्लम क्या हुआ, जो क्रॉप था वो प्रॉब्लम आया, जो पर एरिया जो पर एकड़ जो एरिया में जो क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन था वो रिड्यूस हुआ इस रीजन का स्पेशल। तो एक ये इफेक्ट है इस रीजन में क्लाइमेट चेंज।
Thank you, Professor, for sharing your experience. So, guys, these are relevant experiences that, individual sitting in the hall is experiencing. There could be two reasons you're not able to explain. One, either you are shy for speaking on mic or, in public forum. Yeah.
Most of the faculty members here.
Yeah.
For us, whenever we get fever, that is just because of
Climate change. Absolutely.
For us, for mothers, climate change is this.
This, exactly. It's very true. So, one thing is one is you're not able to speak in the public forum. Other way around, it can be, because you are experiencing, but you are not realizing it. So I'll share my experience. Suppose my latest and foremost experience. I'm in the month of November. It's 1st of November today, and I'm wearing a half sleeve shirt, right? So this is the first experience. Earlier it used to be, as sir already mentioned, that we used to wear our at least sweatshirts or something at least a month ago, right? So this is a change. Now I'll tell you from the starting of the year. I was in February in Delhi around 16-17 February. It was a typical hot July. Typical hot. Suddenly the temperature rise was from 24 degree to 29 degrees. Now can you just imagine change in temperature from just a shift of 5 degrees? It's such huge because that makes you unwell. And that's why we go for physical unwellness. Right? And 17 morning, I took a flight to Bombay. I went to IIT. Okay. And 17 was a very bright sunny day. On 18 suddenly, it was a rainfall like monsoon in the month of February. And it is actually my experience. And it's an important experience, Wherever I go, wherever I travel, I just keep recording my stuff so that, those can be a witness to my, like what I'm speaking right now. So that is a shift. Talking about India parameters, so we must have experienced that जब बारिश होनी चाहिए थी तब हुई नहीं, right? जब होनी थी तो जितनी चाहिए थी उतनी नहीं हुई, correct? And इन सबका impact क्या हुआ? India is a country of farming, so हमारे पे impact क्या है? How many of you know कि टमाटर yeah. Do you think there is any relevance with टमाटर महंगा होने का and there is a climate change? Do you think? Yes, it is. So climate change is actually happening. Moreover, I would say climate change has happened. Now it is accelerating. So such like experience, how many of you have experienced climate change? Please raise your hands. जबरदस्ती मत करना प्लीज, इतनी मेहनत नहीं, इतने एफर्ट्स लेके अपना हाथ खड़ा करो फिर बताओ। ओके, अगेन प्रॉब्लम विद द माइक। Technology upgrade, sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, so going ahead, so today I'll be talking about climate change, and because the theme of this faculty development program is around IoT, so I'll tell you some facts and crucial facts about IoT, who is actually contributing to climate change resilience. So when I say resilience, it is all about mitigation, and I'll be more talking about my experience, who am I, what I am doing, and who is the main culprit of climate change, what can be the solution to it, what is this device running all around. Please ये मत कहना कि ये घड़ी खराब हो गई है, ठीक है? It's actually a really important timeline. Both the things are same, more or less, okay? But we need to understand what it is all about. So we'll be talking about counting down to action, because we need climate correction, right? So I'll be talking about actions. Moreover, connecting the dots between IoT, climate change, and climate clock. How many of you know about climate clock? Raise your hands, please. Climate clock. You know about climate clock, ma'am? Climate clock. Show me. नहीं, आप बताइए इधर कहाँ टेम्परेचर है प्लीज. You know about climate clock? Yeah, please go ahead.
Basically, climate clock is the time until which, after which, the climate change will not be reversible.
Wonderful. Key point. Guys, can we give him a clap? You are around it, and it's very accurate. Good. So, Manu, can you see the population in this hall where, out of 100%, it is just one guy, one guy telling this is a fact. Who knows about climate clock? And I'll tell you by the end of this, discussion, you will realize that how important is this climate clock. And you will really feel the importance. किस-किसको नींद आ रही है? आ रही है नींद? नींद आ रही है? अरे हाँ बोल दो यार, मेरे को भी आती थी, मैं भी यहाँ बैठता था, मेरे जैसे भी, it happens, no problem. Be comfortable. That's why, having the alumni on the speaker side, I also used to be on that side, but after certain time and थोड़ा काम करने के बाद आप इस side भी आ सकते हो. So, but it's the best part of the alumni. You can be free, you can be interactive, take the best out of me. About whatever you would like to know about my experience, what about opportunities, anything. So make sure we connect after this and go ahead. So to start with the presentation, again, I would like to ask, how are you all? Happy. You have to be happy. मेरे को दोबारा बार-बार योगा नहीं करवाना. Yoga is should be one. Okay? Let's go ahead. सर ये टेक्नोलॉजी में फिर से कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. Okay, this is about who am I. So currently I am working with Professor Chetan Singh Solanki. He is a professor at IIT Bombay. Also is known as the Solar Man of India, and we work on the concept of energy Swaraj, which is called energy for locals by locals. Okay, and this is a very mega project happening around the country. And why? And we have very key partners like CSIR, AICTE, Niti Aayog, Earth Day Network, Switch On Foundation, and a lot many partners. And what I have done after my college and even during my college time, I have served as a project enabler. I have done multiple projects around the country. Some of it has been published, some are still pending. So my point of interest is around renewable energy technologies, where we talk about, clean energy. So energy from solar, energy from wind, energy from hydro, and going for a new concept called hybrid power. How you can combine two sources of powers together to make it, accessible and feasible for everyone, right? Because I'm an, again, electronics engineer. So, क्योंकि electronics engineer, so I need to take some specialization about my concepts. So, my expertise, you can say, goes around power electronics. Cool? This is about me. And if I miss anything, yes, I am one of the, active volunteers of IEEE. IEEE, I've been a young professional now. And it's actually a designation in the IEEE community. It is called IEEE Young Professional. And I've been an active member since 5 years now, and multiple society members with electronics, microelectronics, and, industrial society. So all these, this community engagements help you to, grow yourself around anything. Okay. So yes, rest, everything has been discussed. So moving ahead. Okay. So coming back before we start the presentation, let us bring you to a very important thought by Barack Obama. Who knows Barack Obama? मैं कॉलेज को लिखने वाला हूँ, स्पेशली टू AICTE, कि बच्चों को जीके पढ़ाना तो शुरू करो यार, मतलब दिस इज really important. Who is Barack Obama? Former president of US. So he has mentioned a very important statement. which says we are the first generation to experience climate change and we are the last generation to do something about it. Right? We are the first generation. This pointer, I guess, okay, no problem. We are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change and the last generation to do something about it. This is a very, very important statement. First experience, like this is, we are the first, and we are the first generation. It is very true. Climate change is happening and we are experiencing it in our day-to-day lives. And guys, it's a do or die situation, I'll tell you very honestly. If we do not do any action around it, the game is lost. Because, and it's we who has to take action for climate correction. Otherwise, who all will be impacted? So who, because we all are experiencing climate change, who all are being impacted by climate change? Raise your hands. आपको कुछ नहीं हो रहा क्लाइमेट चेंज से, बीमार नहीं पड़ते, है ना? पढ़ाई में किसका मन नहीं लगता? देखा? सबके ये लेकिन क्लाइमेट चेंज का रीजन नहीं है. हाथ नीचे कर दो, ठीक है? So we are experiencing, we are being impacted by any of the way. Even the professors, I would say, because टमाटर महंगे हुए तो आपके भी पॉकेट पे इम्पैक्ट आया, right? You know, so it is really important. We need to understand that because we are experiencing, and if I ask who is responsible for climate change, ये सरकारी बात हो गई भाई. We are, you know, हम responsible, and no, it is I who is responsible. I am the culprit to climate change, yes, and I raise my hand because I am doing it, I am experiencing it, but I am doing some corrective actions. So who is responsible? I. Wow. ना कितने अच्छे लोग हैं ना, अपनी बातें खुद मान रहे हैं गलती करके, है ना? Okay. So going ahead. So just to connect the dots. Before showing these facts, I would like to ask, who thinks IoT relates to climate change? Actually, before any presentation, having a survey is very important. Survey about the audience. That's again, वो तभी वो data driven होगा कि like how much actually the audience knows about the concept, how much they are aware. Then accordingly we can go ahead. So can anyone tell me? So how many of you know IoT? IoT का ये sir faculty development is happening from 3rd. तो 2 दिन तो हो चुका है. So how many of you know about IoT? Raise a hand, please. So it's the right side few people, left side few people, center में तो डब्बा गोल. Is it? तो किसने अभी तक सेशंस अटेंड किए सारे? सारे. अच्छा ये जनता नहीं है सिर्फ. Thank you यार स्पेशली मेरे लिए आने के लिए, तुम लोग इतने खास हो मेरे लिए. It's really, I'm humbled today, I'm really honored. So guys, can anyone tell me about IoT? What is IoT? And please, no bookish language. Help me, मैं बहुत साधारण व्यक्ति हूँ. I really want to understand in a very easy language. What is IoT? Very simple. खड़े हो जाइए.
IoT means Internet of Things, which is affiliated to technology, like you can control appliances and everything without any physical touch or differently.
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Acha, so he says that IoT is a technology, IoT is Internet of Things, and IoT is, you can do something without touching anything, right? Okay, next. I won't say it is accurate, but you have something around it. Next. Anyone? ये population कौन से year की है? Like first year. कितने computer science वाले हैं? कितने electronics? Electronics के पास इतने बच्चे हैं? ओ नहीं, मतलब the popular electrical, mechanical. तो अभी data science, ये data science, artificial intelligence, IT. So आप लोग कहाँ से आए हैं सर? मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ आप लोग कहाँ से आए हैं? बताओ.
They could not decide yet.
Okay. अभी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स बोला हाथ भी नहीं खड़ा किया यार बताओ एटलीस्ट मेरे ब्रांच वाले देखो ऐसा नहीं मतलब देखो ब्रांच स्पेसिफिक है हम थोड़े से हाँ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स थर्ड ईयर यू डोंट नो अबाउट IoT
Not much, sir.
okay that's why this is happening कोई बात नहीं next anyone yeah
Making things communicate and connect.
correct very simple easy to understand communicate and connect okay थोड़ा सा और simplify करते हैं how you can make things communicate and connect okay so there is an application there is a sensor and you give it a network okay correct so through the sensor drives the data for the application okay that is being communicated through the network simple so three key components sensor there is a sensor there's an application and there's a network simple है तो अभी कल से अभी इसके बाद कोई पूछते हैं तो प्लीज बता देना हाँ और मेरी लाज रख लेना करेक्ट सर गुड मॉर्निंग ओके राइट so IoT is exactly we can connect it we can communicate with anywhere and any number of number of sensors number of applications can be connected number of networks can be connected to one point and that drives the data to what data visualization data analytics so you'd go for a lot of data driven engagements like doing analysis doing coming out with figures that can affect your application efficiency so there are a number of things that are being driven by IoT okay so let me connect now so there is a one now we have a context of climate change now we have a technology called IoT correct but how we are relating to it so climate change is actually about a lot many things we talk about atmospheric pressure we talk about greenhouse gases we talk about ocean pressure we talk about sea level a lot many figures so we need communication systems to drive it right yes or no so these are communication systems that take datas from a region or for a specific area or even around the globe through IoT. The number of sensor actuators, condensers being used to drive the data, to visualize it and bring this, bring this sense of, urgency about climate change. Because when there is a data, you want to ask something? Okay. When there is a data, that gives you a fact, and through that fact, you get this urgency of doing something, right? मतलब इंडिया की ग्रोथ कोई कैसे मानता है जब जीडीपी की बात होती है राइट तो वी टॉक अबाउट फिगर्स जब जीडीपी की बात होती है तो हम किसकी बात करते हैं पर कैपिटा इनकम राइट that is also a fact which is a data driven similarly there is a climate change there is a climate clock so definitely if it is about climate change if it is about climate clock there needs to be so I'll be taking you through why this climate change is happening and then I'll be connecting the dots that how IoT is contributing to it but to make this session a little more interesting let me take you through the facts that around the globe who all are participating to IoT technologies to bring up climate change awareness let's go ahead yes sir
like world everyone is trying to develop technology like anywhere else
yes
anything and anywhere
yeah
but technology needs energy
right
and energy is harm to a climate
of course coming
in any form
yes
yeah so the technological development will not be stopped by any country
Right.
even though by us also we are like
Developing country.
married with technology
yes
right so the happening things of like climate change you're talking about this it will not stop
of
you
course.
can just reduce the effect of it but that will not stop one day you will one of us like the next generation will talk about this the technological development leads to the extreme climate change things and we are no solution of it
so
likewise.
sir before coming to that This is actually a statement, not a question first. So of course this statement makes sense, but even till now I have never mentioned that we have to stop. Stop, resilience and mitigation are two different terms. Stop, resilience and mitigation. We need to mitigate right now to become a climate resilient planet. Rather than, of course. So please cooperate with me through the presentation, because I'll be taking you down the lane why this climate change is happening, what are the reasons behind it, why growth and climate change are actually two poles apart. If growth will happen, climate change will happen. Okay, so let us understand the context, and then we'll go to understand what actions needs to be derived in a way that growth should not stop and climate change should be mitigated, right? Okay, moving ahead. So it's a data-driven revolution where IoT comes in, bringing you some facts around to make this session a little interesting. So it is as per my latest, like I was just going through some news in the morning itself. So United States alone, IoT, they have implemented IoT smart meters to reduce the carbon emission by 57 million tons annually. So ये figures की understanding I'll bring you in the session also, that how this 57, 43 billion, why this reduction carbon emission is important. Good morning. Good morning. You. Good morning. हाँ you. नींद आ रही थी. Yes, sir. Can we have a water bottle around, because it's a 1 hour session, so let the children have some water. Okay. According to International Energy Agency, IoT applications can help to reduce global greenhouse gas emission by 9.1 gigatons of CO2 equivalent by 2030. This is another fact. So this is actually what we are talking about. We are talking about the contribution where we find significant space to reduction of greenhouse gases or carbon emission. Okay, so I'll be talking about who is the culprit to it, and then we'll understand the context. Moving ahead, there are a lot of facts about it. IoT can help to reduce deforestation, which accounts for 15% of global greenhouse gas. European Union for IoT technology, everyone, European Union, United States, many countries are talking about the reduction of carbon. So what we can understand from here, from all these facts, the number of efforts are being taken care through IoT to reduce the carbon emission. So इतना तो अभी तक समझ आ गया होगा कि carbon emission बार बार बोलने के बाद one culprit to climate change is carbon emission, right? Yes or no? Okay, go ahead. So guys, as mentioned, I'll be taking a little brief on the climate clock, what it actually tells about. So climate change is happening, climate change has happened, now it is moreover accelerating. Who is responsible for climate change? It is I who is responsible for climate change, and we need to go for climate corrective action. But my major point is, why is this climate change happening? Because of energy. Energy is the culprit to climate change, right? So beyond that, we are emitting carbon. So climate change happens because, let me give you a simple understanding first. Climate change happens because once you utilize any sort of energy, the byproduct is a carbon product, okay? That goes into the atmosphere, right? And that traps the heat, okay? And once they traps the heat, the temperature starts rising, right? So carbon is one of the greenhouse gas which has the highest potential. Any carbon byproduct, okay, it could be methane, carbon dioxide, who has the maximum potential to trap the heat. Okay, now I'll tell you that there is a very important figure which is called 1.5 degree. 1.5 degree. Why it is important? This is the deadline time left when Earth's global warming temperature will touch down to 1.5 degree above its average temperature Okay, in just how many years and how many days? 5 years, 264 days, and the time is ticking. And it's a global clock. So it actually, climate clock, it tells you the deadline time left when the global warming will touch to 1.5 degree from its average temperature, which is concluded by comparing to the pre-industrial level. So अर्थ पे जब से इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन शुरू हुई, द कंपैरिजन इज बिटवीन द बिफोर प्री इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन एंड पोस्ट इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन. You know, to give out any fact, you need to put some standardization. You need to put some comparison, right? So we have this 5 years. So this is taken on January, this screenshot, but actual time, it's a real time clock which is running for, we have only 5 years. And I'll tell you, 5 years is nothing. तुम लोग सब graduate हो जाओगे. And what will happen beyond this 1.5 degree? Anyone? This climate change, the impact of climate change will start becoming irreversible. It will start becoming irreversible. So ऐसा नहीं होने वाला 5 साल बाद environment में कुछ ऐसा होगा कि human का जो existence है उसके ऊपर impact आएगा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला. But these consequences, the impact of climate change will start becoming irreversible. So what will happen? The disasters will be high on frequencies. So ऐसा नहीं था climate change पहले नहीं हुआ था. It has accelerating now. What, like for example, let me compare the time from 100 years back. Okay, maybe in 1900, the level, like the frequency for floods used to be 301, 19, 20, 50. The numbers used to be like this. In a decade, the number of floods, decade is for 10 years, right? इतना तो मालूम है ना? Yes. Thank you. So decade is a comparison for 10 years. In a 10-year span, in the era of 1900 years, okay, the frequency of flood used to be 300 something, 400 something. That used to be the maximum limit. But can you imagine the scale now? It is 2023, and if you compare, the data of last 10 years, you'll get to know this frequency has increased by 1,000. 1,300 number of floods are taking place in a decade. So can you imagine the scale? Floods आए, तो ultimately effect किसको हुआ? Humans को? Forest fires हो रहे हैं. How many of you know about कि अभी Americas में forest fires बहुत peak पर थे भी. California में भी, right? In some forests around this Arizona, there were too much of forest fires. So again, किसकी existence पे, diversity की existence पे question, right? So this is the impact. How many of you know कि दिल्ली में बाढ़ आई थी?
3 दिन की गवर्नमेंट छुट्टी में.
3 दिन, वाओ, good to know गवर्नमेंट छुट्टी देती है तो क्लाइमेट चेंज के बारे में पता चलता है. It's an important fact. So Delhi mein flood aaya, we all know it, right? It can be when I was going through the, my understanding why this flood happened in Delhi, some people mentioned that it could be a political agenda also. It could be but what I understand, what as an engineer or what as an advocate to climate change, what I understand is sea level rise हुआ तभी flood आया. तो वो flood Delhi में नहीं आता, हरियाणा में जाता, हरियाणा में नहीं जाता, यूपी में जाता, कहीं तो फ्लड आता, राइट? और कहीं ना कहीं ह्यूमन लाइफ को इंपैक्ट करता. सो दिस क्लाइमेट चेंज इज व्हाट द प्रॉब्लम इज, दैट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्लाइमेट चेंज द फ्रीक्वेंसीज हैव इंक्रीज्ड एंड अल्टीमेटली इंपैक्ट किनको होता है सबसे ज्यादा? जो लोग उसमें कंट्रीब्यूट भी नहीं करते. कैसे? इफ आई टॉक अबाउट दिल्ली फ्लड्स, बिकॉज आई एम अ रेजिडेंट ऑफ दिल्ली, ओके, दिल्ली में जब फ्लड आया तो यमुना के आसपास के एरियाज में बहुत ज्यादा वाटर लेवल राइज हो गया. ओके, देयर आर टू मच फ्लड्स. सो यमुना के आसपास यूज्ड टू बी अ वेरी very, I would say, the population which is actually on the BPL side. Okay, जो लोग अपने डेली वेजेस पे काम करके अर्न करके अपना डेली का सर्वाइवल करते हैं, वो लोग वहां के आसपास जगह पे रहते थे. ठीक है. So for a people like all of us, who belongs to a middle class family, we can adjust to shifting our place from one place to another. Okay, यहाँ नहीं तो अपने native place चले गए. We can shift anywhere. But could you understand that people who make their daily survival towards areas like this, they have to shift their entire home from some place to the other, entire home, and जबकि उनका contribution भी नहीं है, वो अपना survival मुश्किल से कर पा रहे हैं. So how can we even think about कि they are contributing to climate change? Because they don't even have the access to necessary facilities. Don't you think? So it is actually a very important concern. So 1.5 degree से actually क्या होगा? So let me give you a very easy understanding कि 1.5 degree क्या है, इससे impact क्या हो रहा है. हमारी बॉडी का एवरेज टेम्परेचर क्या है?
98.6.
एक थोड़ा लाउड कैन आई हैव, बिकॉज जिनको नहीं पता है उनको भी पता हो जाए. 35, 19 और 37.6. और कोई?
Approx 35, 37 something.
ओके, करेक्ट. लेकिन यहाँ पे पता है 37 पे किसी को भी आइडिया नहीं होगा. बॉडी को बुखार कब आता है? What is the temperature when we feel fever? And that SI unit is in? So, the understanding is more in Fahrenheit. So let us understand for that. Our average body temperature is for 98, 99 degree, right? 97, 98, depending upon somebody can have 98.5 because we are. So on an average, let us understand it is 97, 98. 1 degree भी body का temperature जब बढ़ जाता है, what we say, body को क्या हुआ? Fever हो गया, correct? वैसे ही अर्थ का भी एक टेम्परेचर है. अर्थ का टेम्परेचर 1.5 डिग्री बढ़ने से व्हाट वी कैन से कह सकते हैं अर्थ को बुखार आ गया. ओके, सो हमको फीवर आता है तो वी ऑल टेक आवर फेवरेट डोलो 650, favorite medicine of all the houses, Dolo 650, or we give paracetamol, right? अर्थ को पैरासिटामोल दे सकते हो? Yes or no? No? So we need to drive some actions. कुछ लोग सो गए हैं, तो क्योंकि आगे की चीज थोड़ी सी important to understand है. तो again, before I start, how are you all? Better. Chalo. So, thank you for being happy and keep that smile on the face. Let us understand what is the problem. So, unmasking the culprit, that how energy fuels to climate change. Energy is the biggest culprit to climate change. And guys, our 85% of the energy comes from fossil fuels, oil, gas and coal. Its byproduct is which goes into the ant traps, which causes wow यार, मतलब मुझे तो आगे जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, मतलब तुम लोग तो सबको क्लाइमेट चेंज पता चल गया. It's so great, right? So this is actually, and because 85%, like guys, can you imagine your day-to-day activities is causing so much of climate change? And let me tell you, energy is everything and everything is energy. From wearing this cloth to you using this table or chair, everything has taken some energy. क्या इस चेयर को बनाने में एनर्जी लगी होगी? राइट? एनर्जी का बाय प्रोडक्ट, इसका बाय प्रोडक्ट कार्बन. मैंने कपड़े पहने, इस कपड़े को पहनने, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि कपड़े पहनना बंद कर दो, नहीं. कम टू द राइट पॉइंट, आई विल टेक यू टू द राइट पॉइंट. सो इस कपड़े को यूज करने में एनर्जी यूज हुई है, राइट? अभी एसीज भी ऑन है, लाइट्स भी ऑन है, फैंस भी ऑन है. We are emitting carbon, yes or no? Is it coming from a clean energy source? No. Ultimately byproduct is coal burn कर रहे हैं, then you are getting this energy to utilize.
The major problem is humans have become so insignificant for the utilization of energy कि कोई भी facility को we are using it to the excessive. Energy is actually a magical tool जो humans को मिल गया. Now we do not understand the right, we are not making a justice for using energy. घर में एसी चल रहा है तो एक नहीं तीन एसीज लगा दिए. Can anyone understand this? मतलब it is so insignificant. Classrooms में lectures होते हैं, lectures के बाद we just keep the lights and fans, and it is not over just about lights and fans. हम main culprit किनको बनाते हैं? Lights को off कर देते हैं. This in your rooms or maybe in your maximum 15 watt 9 watt का LED use होता है. But I'll tell you one thing. Let me give you one figure. Can you see my clothes ironed? No? Now ironing one time to your clothes emits how much of carbon? Anybody knows? 200 grams of carbon is emitted once you iron one pair of clothes. So when I say if I iron my shirt and pant, it will emit 200 grams of carbon. So when you go for ironing, so घर से तो पूरी एक पोटली जाती है नहीं? So just think that in our day-to-day activities, how much carbon is being emitted. So we need to drive some significant action that gives us the understanding that किसी भी resource को, if it is through energy, कितना significantly use करें so that it should not impact the environment. We need to understand this. Okay? Going ahead. How? The planet has a carbon budget. How many of you know about carbon budget? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Nobody? How many, can anyone give me a definition of budget? What is a budget? Anyone?
Planning of the expenditure.
Planning of the expenditure is budget. Any more relevant understanding? ठीक है, इसकी सर की डेफिनेशन को रिपीट कर दीजिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. A limit of spending something, right? So, two important definitions what I got from your side only is planning your expenditure, limit of spending something. So there is a budget. So when I say carbon budget, so definitely there is some amount of carbon budget we have that we can expend it to certain level so that it does not impact our lifestyle, right? There is definitely a budget. इसकी understanding मैं तुमको इस तरीके से देता हूँ. Suppose everyone, like your parents, maybe some of the freelancers sitting over here, our professors, I am earning something, right? Maybe 1 lakh rupees a day. 1 lakh rupees a month. इतना अमीर बनना ही है बस, है ना सचिन? Okay, so 1 lakh rupees a month. So this become our budget that to go for a monthly expenses, we have 1 lakh rupees. जिसमें हाउस रेंट भी देना है, फूड भी करना है, ट्रैवल भी करना है, शादियों में भी जाना है, कपड़े भी खरीदने, सब कुछ करना है, right? ठीक है? So all these are the part of our expenditure, and there is a budget. Now if I can if I don't have this right understanding of expending my budget, मैं वो 1 लाख रुपए एक दिन में भी खर्च कर सकता हूं, करेक्ट? या वो 1 लाख रुपए मैं significantly खर्च करूं तो I can have some savings as well along with my expenditures, right? So giving you this context कि again there is a carbon budget also. There is a carbon budget, and that amount of carbon you can emit it to the atmosphere, okay? And if that remains within the budget, you won't go into consequences. आपका monthly budget अगर fail हो जाता है, suppose मेरे 1 lakh rupees mid of the month में खत्म हो गए, तो इसके consequences क्या होंगे? I'll compromise with my facilities, right? I'll go for loans and lending, some money from other people, right? This will happen. So these are the consequences, and these are the major consequences we all suffer. Even for you as a student, you must have a budget, right? मंथली बजट होता होगा ना, पेरेंट्स घर से इतना पॉकेट मनी देते हैं, वी नीड टू एक्सपेंड दिस मच अमाउंट, अगर एक दिन में खत्म कर दिया तो अगले दिन कैंटीन की चाय कौन स्पॉन्सर करेगा? स्पॉन्सर ढूंढ, राइट? स्पॉन्सर ढूंढते हैं कि नहीं? So this happens. So similarly, there is a carbon budget for Earth also. But क्या अर्थ का कार्बन बजट अगर खत्म कर दिया तो कैन यू गो एंड आस्क मार्स कि मार्स अपना कार्बन बजट दे दो थोड़ा सा? इज इट पॉसिबल? कैन दिस हैपन? मार्स गो टू मून, मून पे चले गए ना अब तो. So can you go and go to moon and ask you please give your carbon budget to Earth, or let me go and build a home at moon? No, we need to understand the importance of the budget. So this way, so we need to understand that Earth has limited resources. Earth has limited soil, limited water, limited atmosphere, limited air, limited elements on the Earth. So when everything is limited, how can the usage be unlimited? Can we understand this? मतलब who thinks कि atmosphere is the father's property, जितना मर्जी आए उतना कार्बन एमिट कर दो? Don't you think?
कुछ परमानेंट चाहिए.
Correct. Very true. But permanent चाहिए, but कितना चाहिए? Let me understand, because that is the point we need to understand, that limiting is something we need to, when they, so I'll come to this point. So when we, sir already mentioned about the growth. कोई मुझे ये बता सकता है कि इंडिया की जीडीपी इतने परसेंटेज ग्रोथ अगर अचीव कर लेगी तो वी आर मतलब ग्रोथ, क्या ग्रोथ की कोई वैल्यू है? इज देयर एनी वैल्यू प्रपोजिशन टू द ग्रोथ? यस और नो? कैन मोदी जी कम एंड से कि आज इंडिया जो है वो केवल इतने प्रतिशत दर से अपना जीडीपी ग्रो करेगा? कैन आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर स्टेट दिस स्टेटमेंट इन पब्लिक? नो. And can any economist tell me कि okay, India this year will go for 20% of the GDP rise, okay, and this will enable us, कि we are now this every lifestyle is okay, growth has happened, it is a developed country now. Growth का क्या GDP की क्या कोई GDP की लिमिट है? How many of you agree कि लाइफ के कैरियर की ग्रोथ लिमिट पॉइंट क्या होती है? मैं अपनी लाइफ में एज अ कैरियर आई वांट टू ग्रो, तो मेरा ग्रोथ पॉइंट का लिमिट क्या होगा? एज नहीं. पीपल, मोदी जी इज वर्किंग एट द एज ऑफ 70 प्लस इयर्स एंड इज स्टिल इज अ एक्टिव लीडर, राइट? So there is no, and why is working in 80s? Because there is no limit to growth again. So we need to understand, because and humans actually, I'll tell you, our stupidity is so much that we as humans have destroyed. क्या कोई मुझे आज की डेट में ये प्रॉमिस कर सकता है कि we have शुद्ध हवा सांस लेने के लिए? Just one second. शुद्ध हवा सांस लेने के लिए है? How many of you can guarantee this? Raise your hands. You have pure air to breathe? No? You have pure food to eat? You have pure water to drink? No. So see that it is such a big disaster that you don't have pure water. You have earth, you have all the resources, but you don't have pure elements to go for your even basic survival. Can you imagine this? And why? Because हमको growth चाहिए, because climate change is happening, and because of all this we don't have even basic amenities for survival. दिल्ली में आओ, पहले दिल्ली के एयर को पॉल्यूट करते हैं, पॉल्यूट करने के बाद we spend around ₹1 lakh to get air purifiers in our rooms, okay, we pollute water, then we go for a 5-star RO systems with reverse osmosis. No, RO is best technology for reverse osmosis. Then UV technology and a lot many things. Okay, all this happened. So, and for food, कोई मुझे ये claim कर दो, even के your food, the vegetables that are coming to your home are pure. So think it is such a big disaster.
Big disaster is buying a water bottle.
This is actually called paap ka pani. In our terms, me with my professor, we say this paap ka pani. Why is this paap ka pani? No, it's not because of pornography. आप इसका एक 5 सेकंड का सुख ले सकते हो. You can take the happiness, open the bottle, drink it. But can you imagine कि इसको decompose होने में कितना time लगेगा? And ये decompose होगा भी कि नहीं? Exactly. And this will go where? It will be dumped somewhere. Maybe under the sea, maybe under the land. This will what will happen then? So this is I never use this plastic ka bottle ka pani. And I encourage you also to do the same, because you need to understand कि आपके छोटे-छोटे actions कितने बड़े consequences में convert हो रहे हैं. Guys, I'll tell you, there is a place in Odisha. Okay, sea level. There is one fact called sea level rise. Okay, there is actually rise in the land area, land in the sea level. So I don't know the exact name. I'm not able to remind the place, but still I'm not able to remember the place. But still, that place, I'll tell you, has shifted the level to around a feet actually. And it's actually a beach area, and there's a sea level over sea water over there. तो मतलब सोच लो land का level का rise हो जाना, मतलब can you imagine this? But there's a hand, or how we took this, how we experienced it. There's a hand pump over there. Okay, so there was a certain height of the pipe, and then there was a hand pump. Okay, so जो land level था, that touched to the hand pump level. So this way, because 2 साल पहले गए थे तो वो वैसा था, इस साल गए तो it is something like that. So this is the point. So ये कहीं ना कहीं तो dump हो रहा है. So again, coming back to the point that this planet has a carbon budget, we need to understand we have limited resources. The Earth is limited. Growth is unlimited. We conclude to this point that growth is unlimited. Yes or no? But because growth is unlimited, Earth is limited. So we need to go for some significant actions. Sir.
Same example, I will also quote that. Because what happened, other countries like European Union or US, they're dumping the scrap in the sea. So that's the reason तो level जो है sea level है वो increase हो रहा है, and जो survival है for the Maldives, it is after a few years, means after 50 years, no Maldives are available in the earth.
Absolutely, very true. And if you go for a survey, guys, hello, please have your attention. Please, can I have your attention, please, guys? Okay, coming. If you go and take a research, there are a number of islands and places that have been submerged in the sea. And I must have, I know that many of you have gone through the Instagram facts. Trend hota hai ye bhi. So don't you think this has happened? This is something happening. So growth is unlimited, Earth is limited, resources are limited. So obviously we need to plan for a budget. We need to plan for a budget and go for a significant action for driving that budget so that we can save our planet and go for a climate resilient planet. Otherwise, क्या होगा? Dinosaurs कभी हुआ करते थे? आज के 100 साल बाद, 200 साल बाद, कोई जनरेशन या कोई स्पीशी आएगी, फिर वो क्या कहेगी? कभी ह्यूमंस भी हुआ करते थे. वाह, कितने स्माइलिंग फेसेस के साथ ये बात कह रहे हो तुम लोग. And this will happen, guys. Trust me. I told you 1.5 degrees is something, which is in just 5 years you'll see the consequences, and another 20 years when, so after 1.5 degree the irreversible change will start happening. Okay, the consequences, the frequencies will increase, everything, the impact will increase, you know, the cause, the impact for all the climate consequences, climate change consequences, flood, drought, forest fires, agriculture impact, maybe your some biological disasters can happen, and that may cause this climate change. And after 2 degrees, so after this another timeline of 5 years, after this 5 years we have a timeline for 20. So we need to, as per the IPCC report, which says Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, says we need to limit the temperature to 1.5 degree, otherwise one, it start becoming irreversible. Beyond 2 degree of the temperature, this फिनोमिना विल बी कंप्लीटली इरिवर्सिबल. उसके बाद अगर ह्यूमन साधु संत भी बन जाए, आज के 100 साल पहले के जमाने का व्यतीत करे, गुरुकुल में पढ़ाई करें, लंगोट पहन के घूमे, तब भी आप कुछ नहीं कर सकेंगे. And this will happen, trust me. Within next 25 years, let's mark our date and calendars. This will happen if we do not limit, you know, and if we do not drive our actions to limit climate change. Okay? And let us understand what is the carbon budget. So guys, see, maybe this discussion may not be too technological for you, but I'll give you the taste for the technology. But more important is, you know, making you aware with complex technological terms. Maybe in some other session I can come and give you about the brief, you know, brief idea of how to use IoT. That I can give you any day. Maybe I can sit with you all tomorrow and I can give you all this idea how we are implementing it. But moreover, you need to understand some context which is useful, because time is running out. This time is not stopping. It is not taking the, you know, pause for me, you know, कि holding आज तो FDP है IoT के ऊपर, आज थोड़ा रुक जाते हैं, आराम से climate change होता है. And guys, let me take you through the carbon budget. We can burn, so in 2020, in the year 2020, guys, listen to me. मुझे लगता है फिर से थोड़ा एक scientific तरीका जरूरी है. Guys, good morning. चलो, let's do one exercise. खुश रहने के लिए. No, very important scientific, हाँ, मतलब scientifically proven है. Important exercise, guys. Let's do it, professors. What you have to do is take your hand like this. Take your hand like this. At the back. And let me ask, how are you all? Happy. It's really important to be happy. Chalo. Now, very smartly and very slowly, you have to reduce this 90-degree angle gap and do like this, you know, slowly bring closer, as a close लेके आना है. Slowly, very slowly. Make sure it should happen like this. 90 degree का जो gap है, उसको धीरे धीरे close करना है. Close करो. It should be like this. It should be like this, like kind of a pinch.
This 90 degree.
हाँ, you should have to close like this. It should be like a pinch. Happened? हम नहीं हुआ? हाँ, ठीक है. Okay. Anyways, ठीक है. Not precisely. कर लिया? Now what you have to do? जो happy नहीं है ना, उसको चूटी काट दो. Give it a pinch. ठीक है? और उसको नींद से जगाओ. Give it a pinch. जो सो रहा है. हाँ, important. किस किस को जगाया? किसने जगाया? Raise your hands. किसने जगाया? Go ahead, guys. पीछे. They're very scientific thing, यार. You need to, you know, pinch other person and that person is awakened.
ख्वाब से जगाने के लिए.
जाग गए? ख्वाब से जाग गए? Yes or no? ठीक है. चलो. Be with me for another few minutes. And guys, ये discussion important है किसके लिए पता है? हम सब के लिए और वो छोटी सी प्यारी सी बच्ची जो है उसके लिए. See that girl at the last, the small child. Hello, can you please raise your hand? Say hello to everyone. Say hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yashu. Say hello to Yashu. Everyone say hello, Yashu. ये एक्शन किसके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है? उसके लिए भी. Because if not us, she will experience definitely something harsh. So we need to think about us, about our generations to come, who can at least have a basic, peaceful and pure survival on earth. We need to understand this. आज हम नहीं तो कल कोई और definitely होगा और हमारी ही generation होगी. So bear with me for another few minutes and I'll close this and we'll take you through the technological development that we have done. Okay. So we can burn only 285 billion, 511 million, 548,000, 878 100 tons of carbon. फिगर कितना अच्छा लग रहा है ना? इतना अगर CTC हो जाए तो मजा आ जाए लाइफ करने. नहीं? होगा होगा एक दिन सबका होगा, promise. Let me tell you now how drastically these figures have changed. In the year 2020, the carbon budget was 500 billion. 500 billion. And in just a span of 3 years, it has come to 285. Nearly half of it. Can you imagine this? How drastically this is happening? And I just gave you this example, ironing your clothes. I'll tell you, when you even brush, there's so much of energy consumed. Kaise? Can anyone explain the process? So for brushing your teeth, what do you need? First you need a toothpaste. Sorry, first you need a toothbrush. So पहले brush के लिए वो proper वो plastic body को raw material लाते हैं, brush बनाते हैं. फिर brush को, क्योंकि brush तो बिना packing के हमें अच्छा लगेगा नहीं, तो बहुत सुंदर सुंदर packing करते हैं, बहुत सुंदर सुंदर color करते हैं. So sorry. Very sorry guys. So बहुत सुंदर सुंदर पैक करते हैं. फिर that from the manufacturing plant that comes to the retailer point through some transportation. ठीक है? Then we go through some transport to buy that toothbrush. पैदल तो जा नहीं सकते, है ना? कई लोगों को तो पिलानी बस स्टैंड तक के लिए भी ऑटो लगता है. So we go like this. ठीक है? चलो toothpaste ले. Same goes with toothbrush ले. Same goes with the toothpaste also. Raw material आया, बनाया, heat किया, cool किया. There's so much of energy consumed. यहाँ तक तो चलो यहाँ भी नहीं हुआ. Then you need what? Water. So there is a proper pumping set. Then there is a tank. There is a tap. There is a pipe involved, right? ये भी चलो हो गया. Then you need a beautiful basin with a beautiful mirror. So mirror के लिए भी so much of energy is consumed. That marble, that ceramic has consumed so much of energy. So you need to understand कि हमारे कोई भी किसी भी एक्शन में देयर इज एनर्जी इन्वॉल्व. सो अगेन मैं कह रहा हूं इसका मतलब ब्रश करना नहीं छोड़ना ना. ऐसा नहीं कि कल आज तो हमने ये सीखा कल से ब्रश नहीं करके आएंगे, ठीक है? तो कल से फिर तुम्हारी क्लासेस भी सस्पेंड कर देंगे, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होगा. चलो लेट्स गो अहेड. सो द क्रिटिकल टाइम इज, सो per second what is the emission of carbon in the atmosphere? Rate of carbon emission, guys, anyone? You understand this 285 billion, right? And per second emission in the atmosphere is for 14 lakh kilograms. So every second there is an emission of 14 lakh kilogram of carbon in the atmosphere. Can you imagine this figure? Can you imagine this figure globally? Globally this budget is like every second हम बात करें, every second there is emission of 14 lakh kilogram. तो ये बजट कहां सर्वाइव करेगा? And if 14 lakh kilogram per year कितना emission हुआ? Let's talk this terms in terms of billion. Something around 43 billions. And let me give you a context that's how this timeline comes. So climate clock is basically tells the deadline time for 1.5 degree, and this timeline is being calculated when there is a carbon budget divided by rate of carbon emission, you get the timeline. Something around 5 years, 260 days, and the time. Do you think? Similarly, you can calculate your monthly budget also. And ये 1. किसी ने मेरे से अभी तक ये क्वेश्चन नहीं किया कि ये 1.5 डिग्री का फिगर कैसे आया?
जो ये डेटा है जो कि ये 1.5 डिग्री के बाद का है.
1.5 डिग्री का एक प्रोजेक्टेड डेटा है ये.
सर जैसे मान लो अगर 10 साल का ये है, 10 से 5 साल का 1.5 डिग्री है, तो अगर 10 या 12 साल या फिर 20 साल का करें तो 1.5 डिग्री से शिफ्ट होके
that will go to 2 degree. So this, we have this data for, so guys, do me one favor today. Go to your home and download one report called IPCC report. You'll get to know a lot about climate change, a lot many facts and figures, which is Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. So let me give you this clear understanding कि 1.5 degree आया कैसे. So this comparison is between pre-industrial era and the current era. Okay, so around 1850, that was the point when industrialization started. That time also, you know, we used to have our day-to-day life activities, carbon used to, you know, be emitted, but exponentially beyond post-industrialization, that post-industrialization, that saturation to the atmosphere because of industrialization, rate of carbon emission rapidly exponentially increased. Okay, and in current scenario, we have, you know, as per the projected, like, so how we project, so this carbon emission has a direct relation with the heat rise in temperature. Okay, so when you'll plot this, when you'll plot this graph to rate of carbon emission on the x-axis and y-axis to the temperature, okay, and when you'll plot this, the rate of carbon emission will be, the more the rate of carbon emission, more will be the temperature. So this way you'll get a linear graph. And when you will extrapolate it, so currently the Earth's average temperature is around 1.19. Okay, and when I extrapolate that graph, okay, so I can predict, I can project that, okay, after in 2029 or maybe in 2025, this will be the temperature, because linear graph में हम ये सब सीखते हैं ना, how to project your data. When there's a linear graph, when you extend that graph and you match with the axis, you get that idea of, you know, at this point will be, you know, getting this point, this time instant of data. This happens. थोड़ा और मुझे एक्चुअली मेरे को ये आसान भाषा पे आना बहुत हमेशा जरूरी लगता है. ओके, वर्ल्ड कप कौन कौन देख रहा है? इंडिया का रन रेट जो वी नो 50 ओवर्स का मैच है, ठीक है, बैटिंग टीम किस रन रेट से रन बना रही है उससे हमें प्रोजेक्टेड स्कोर पता चल जाता है. एंड द प्रोजेक्टेड स्कोर इज एक्चुअली एन अप्रोक्सीमेट आइडिया कि अगर बैट्समैन ने ज्यादा रन मारे तो स्कोर बढ़ भी सकता है और नहीं बने तो कम भी हो सकता है. तो सिमिलर गोज विद द कार्बन एमिशन आल्सो. अगर रैपिडली कार्बन एमिशन बढ़ गया तो दिस 5 years कैन कोलैप्स इन जस्ट 1 year आल्सो. And if you use it significantly, so it can, you know, the time can be longer. So how this happens is, like, for example, COVID का era मैं बताता हूँ. This climate clock went slow, very slow, because the world stopped. The percentage, a significant percentage was dropped down. The years, you know, the number of years went to 7 years around. But again, post-COVID, the scenario remains the same. So guys, we need to understand there's a very limited carbon budget. We need to significantly use it and drive our actions. Let us move forward. We need to understand the fundamental laws of sustainability. So this is with my experience and this is from my learning with Professor Chetan. Okay? So Professor Chetan always mentions, actually he is a very kind of a Gandhian philosophy person. Okay. So this is law of sustainability, which says law number 1, limiting consumption. Guys, we need to understand in an ecosystem of limited resources, there needs to be a limited consumption. Right? अगर हमारे resources limited हैं, तो क्या उनका consumption भी limited होना चाहिए? Otherwise, we'll come into a trouble. We can understand this very easily. कभी और resources limited का मतलब क्या? आपका घर है, suppose आपका घर है, आपके घर में there is a proper resource for bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, store room, every सबका significant resource है. क्या कभी ऐसा होता है kitchen का काम जाके store room में कर रहे होते हो? हाँ, होता है? It happens? No expression आया, then I thought it happens? नहीं. कभी ऐसा होता है कि सोने मतलब किचन का काम स्टोर रूम में किया, सोना है तो चले गए, किचन में सोने चले गए. This happens? No, because we know कि हमारा कौन सा रिसोर्स की प्लेसमेंट कहां पर है और कितना सिग्निफिकेंटली उसको यूज करना है. Right? So let's conclude to the point that for a sustainable life, we need to go for a limited consumption. We need to, because I told you, energy is everything. Everything is energy. From using food, from eating food, from using clothes, from using any resource, from using any technology, you need to limit your consumption, because once you don't limit it, otherwise you'll go. Well, if you don't limit it, you'll go. You'll get into trouble for sure. Next is localizing production. Why localizing production is important? So the laws, there are two important laws. One is limiting consumption and localizing production. So localizing production means, mass production is not important. Production by masses is important. Let me give you an example. How many of you use solar energy? Raise your hands.
Household, sir, but my college is using.
Okay. How many of you use solar? So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intelligent people raising their hands. They are most intelligent in the room right now. Trust me. अरे सीरियस sarcastically ले रहे हो, सब smile कर रहे हो, ऐसा थोड़ा ना होता है. थोड़ा appreciate करो. So, guys, let me break this myth now. We all use solar energy. Food comes from sun. Is the ultimate source for anything. Food from sun. Water, the process is through sun. Air, sun. How many of you use solar energy? जो लोग नहीं करते, यानी वो खाना नहीं खाते, यानी वो सांस नहीं लेते, यानी वो पानी नहीं पीते. I can see some people again do not raising their hand. Can I see how many of you use solar energy? Please raise your hands. See, now we all are intelligent. So, guys, कल से अगर कोई भी ये सवाल पूछे ना कि कौन-कौन solar energy use करता है, तो raise your hand, because it's something which is like you use your every resources from sun. Sun is the ultimate source for anything. So, for example, now because they have raised their hand because they use solar energy in terms of electricity. Right, guys? You raised your hands because of that. They use sun energy for electricity. So, for example, why localizing production is important. Once, suppose if I install 500 gigawatts of solar power plant at certain point, so I'll tell you, we humans are so intelligent that we resolve one problem and create 5 others. Agree? How many of you agree? ठीक है? ये तो सब agree करते हैं ना? We solve one problem and create 5 others. So,
means we are finding one solution, means we find a solution. But parallelly we create a set of like if there is a dumping of the
I was just coming to that. Yeah.
Dumping of the panels. It is more much more difficult.
Yes. So that's why I gave this example that we solved one problem for not using fossil fuel as an energy, which is solar energy. But again, every technology has a bane. Every technology has a boon or bane, na? So, जितने ज़्यादा solar panel use करोगे, उतना ज़्यादा उनका decomposition अभी. We don't have a concrete technology right now for decomposition around the globe. Multiple papers you will find out claiming that okay, this is the technology for decomposition, but nobody can commercially guarantee that it is a viable solution. So, you plan for 500 gigawatts of energy, some point on the area. You need more land. You need more solar panels, you need more structures, you need more distribution setup, right? But what if we localize production? इस कमरे में बैठा हर व्यक्ति अपनी एनर्जी की रिक्वायरमेंट को खुद से फुलफिल करे.
Household production.
Right. Go for household production, no? आप अपने घर की रिक्वायरमेंट सोलर एनर्जी की, सोलर एनर्जी की for panels, anything. Any resource, okay? आपको उसकी भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. I'm coming to that. So what if the localized production is important, na? You don't need that much of big amount of panels, distribution lines, distribution microgrids, and smart grids, and all those resources. You don't need it. This where the energy Swaraj comes in, being एनर्जी में मोदी जी कहते हैं ना आत्मनिर्भर बनो, तो एनर्जी में आत्मनिर्भर बनो. Go for energy independence. Fulfill your own energy requirement using solar energy by your own. And trust me, it is not difficult. And your resources will, drop down to even significantly 25 to 30%. Trust me. The government, you don't need any subsidy. I'll give you one formula. Okay? And with that, you don't need any subsidy for having solar energy. And I'll tell you, for even climate change, ultimate solution is solar energy. You need to go for clean energy. Why we always quote solar energy is important? Because solar energy right now has the most feasible technology that we have, that any human, despite of the technical background, can use it. And I quote here, despite of the technical background, anyone can use solar energy as electricity. Another reason why mass production is important. Energy is the cause for everything, guys. Because of energy, war happens. किसको पता है कि श्रीलंका का कंडीशन बहुत कुछ साल पहले कुछ साल के अभी भी उनकी सिचुएशन बहुत खराब है. Why? Because of energy crisis. Then they don't उनका जो foreign exchange fund था for energy, that rapidly finished.
They are in debt.
Exactly. So they are actually in debt. So again, कौन से भी topmost 2 wars चल रहे हैं अर्थ के ऊपर? And I'll tell you what were the topmost 2 targets. उन्होंने क्या किया? उनके एनर्जी सोर्स को सबसे पहले डिस्ट्रॉय किया. Any source of energy, like nuclear power plant, their dams, so that if they don't have access to energy, they won't have resources to fight. Right? So everything is caused, every action that is driving on earth, which is at individual level, or maybe at organization level, maybe at community level, maybe at country level, is because of energy. Depression, tension, everything is because of energy. आप significantly आप ठीक से अपनी नींद नहीं लेंगे. आप अपने बॉडी के एनर्जी को एक्सेस यूज करेंगे. आपकी बॉडी it will start feeling unwell, and consequence आपके हेल्थ पे आएगा. That is also an energy. Agree or not? So why even localizing production is important? Because, and it is not only in India, we are talking energy storage or energy independence or energy में आत्मनिर्भरता is not only in India, it's a global thing that we need to go for. And the models can, and we have absolute models in European countries like Europe. Agree? So we need to understand this, that again, somehow, anyways, we have very famous country, around us. We are neighbor. Maybe on some time we can go for a war anytime. It can happen. Maybe after 50 years. Nobody knows. It's actually a dynamic fact. But what if? And what if you have localizing production? If you have localized production, then कितने energy plants को कोई destroy कर सकता है? Nobody. But if we have one source for power, so if we have only, so let's compare it. One big source and having 1,000 multiple source, which is important. 1,000 multiple resources, 1,000 multiple resources in terms of everything. आपके resource कम लगा, आपको उसकी decomposition technology कम लगेगी, cost कम लगेगा, and output, the efficiency of the system will be high. Agree or not? So this way, limiting consumption and localizing production for anything. For anything. So these two laws of sustainability is not only with perspective of climate change, not only with perspective of survival, it is with perspective of sustainability for anything, maybe any of your job. Suppose right now, I'll tell you, recently with my experience, the LEDs we import, we all are engineers. Engineering ke most of the components are being imported from outside India, right? Yes. Cost is high. Apple का फोन किसके पास है ना? कितना महंगा आता है? फिर हम हमेशा अपने दोस्तों को बोलते हैं यार कोई यूएस से आ रहा है क्या? कोई कनाडा से आ रहा है क्या? कोई दुबई से आ रहा है क्या? प्लीज मेरे लिए आईफोन लेते आना. Why? Because we don't have localized production. That's why the cost is high. But if we have the cost, if we have this resource for manufacturing of not exactly iPhone, maybe any technology, that will be available at the cheapest cost. Example is China.
Electric car lakhs, the same Tata
Nexon is costing about 19 lakhs in India. The same specifications you can get for 7.4 lakhs at China.
Very true. For any technology, for automobile, for your driving, computer science technology, any technology, that comes through localization only. So we need to limit our consumption, because more you consume, more energy is being consumed, more material is energy, and energy is everything. So more material you use, more energy you will be using, more you will be contributing to climate change. I am sure हम सबके घर के अलमीरा में इतने कपड़े घर में रखे होंगे नए ऐसे, जो बेचारे वो कपड़े भी वेट कर रहे होंगे कि हमारा मालिक कब आएगा, हमारे गेट खोलेगा. पिछले साल हमने वो 2 साल पहले पहना था, अभी तक यूज भी नहीं किया है. And what is that? Ultimately energy, na? Significant energy, and you have contributed to climate change. Anyways. So we need to understand limiting consumption and localizing production. And this will happen. What localized production will help you for society level? One, you'll have, low cost to the resources. Point number 2, you'll have more employment. Agree? I'll share some of my experiences through my project where we have actually created employment for people. In one of the projects, I remember with Professor Chetan, there was a source project of IIT Bombay. Okay, that project was about solar lamps. Make your own solar lamps and surrender your electricity. For your day-to-day activities. So that source project went to different communities around India. It was in 2020. That project was started in 2016 only. That that went up to till 2020, and we went to that project, and every resource went to a localized, like every rural community, where in somewhere in Durgapur, okay, there is a group of women, no education background. They have been trained to assemble the to assemble the solar lamps. They have been trained to service those solar lamps. They have been trained to assemble the solar panels. They don't have any technical background. And I'll tell you, now she is the CEO of the company. There's a lady called, I'll just, I'm sorry, I'm not able to just get the name right now. It's a very little complex name. Okay, she's a lady, class 8 pass out. She's the CEO of the company. You can just Google that Souls project, or you can go to the Clamorpreneur page on the Instagram and you can check her profile. That employment was generated through the Souls project because of the localizing, philosophy. Now she takes care of a team of around 150 people, building resources, bringing panels, bringing solar energy to rural areas. So see how the technology went to such grassroots level in the country. So you don't need any degree or anything to understand technology or something like that. So this is where it comes, localizing production. Okay guys, moving ahead, approach for the solution. We need, so अभी तक तो हमने problem के बारे में बात करी, अभी तक हमने context की, problem के consequences और उनकी context की बात करी. Now we need to talk about the solution. Solution is AMG. A says avoid the use of energy. इस धरती पर सुखी काम सबसे ज्यादा पता है क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं करना. How many of you do meditation? Raise your hand, please. My God, such a low number, sir. Sir, so please make sure you bring this concept in the institution that every professor or student should go for a meditation camp at least in the weekend, because we have so much of stressful life. कुछ भी मत करके देखो, you will get a lot of peace. This is for your day-to-day life. But one of the example is avoid any use of energy, Avoid any use. So how you can avoid it? For example, on some days of, actually on most of the days now from last 1.5 years, okay, I do not iron my clothes. Can you do it? Can unironed clothes become a fashion? Yes or no? Yes. मैं खराब तो नहीं दिख रहा है. मैं literally इस shirt को I do this exercise now. You try it. You must have bookshelf ना. Fold your iron clothes को wrinkles free करने के लिए you just need pressure and proper position. This is with my experience. Fold it properly. ठीक है? Bookshelf में middle of the bookshelf उसको रख दो and put it for 7 days. इतनी anatomy तो इतनी autonomy तो लेके चलते हो ना 7 days के कपड़ों की. ठीक है? So you put it on Tuesday, use it on next Tuesday. It will be perfect like me. मेरे fashion sense में कोई problem है? अच्छा दिख रहा हूँ? इतने कम लोगों ने बोला जाओ यार तुम लोग बहुत खराब हो. मेरा मन खराब हो गया. हाँ, thank you. So can we do this? Avoid. Do not iron your clothes, because one time ironing your clothes contribute how much? 200 grams of carbon. 1 unit of electricity emits how much of carbon? 1 kilogram of carbon. So 1 unit. So आपके घर का बिजली का बिल कितना आता है? कोई मुझे बताना चाहेगा? कितना? 10,000 multiply. So every month you contribute. कितने महान व्यक्ति हो, So just say this I'm giving you a very estimated figure of how you can just avoid using any energy. ये ACs use कर रहे हैं हम, ये सारे ACs use. I guess ये अगर ACs अभी बंद भी हो जाए, the temperature is so immediate and this fan is working, we will be fine. There will be no impact, right? Yes or no? How many of you use geysers while bathing? आपके एक टाइम नहाने का सुख कितना दुख देता है पता है एटमॉस्फेयर को. And 1 gram of carbon remains for how many years in the atmosphere? For 300 years. Can you imagine? मतलब आपके घर का 1 unit of electricity consumption will remain for 300 years. And trust me guys, this climate change which is happening today is not because we have done something in just 10 years, 20 years or 25 years. No, absolutely no. This has something, the process during industrialization has happened, that much of carbon has been emitted to the atmosphere, and that trap of heat is giving us consequences today. That's why today I mentioned that we need to drive our actions in a way कि कल को यशु को प्रॉब्लम नहीं होनी चाहिए. Agree or not? Because आज जो रिसोर्सेज हम यूज करेंगे कल को वो जब अपने एज में आएगी, when she'll be 30, 35, 40, definitely we will be giving our contribution to her survival, complication of survival, I would say. So how important it is to understand कि हमें हमारे actions को कितना significantly drive करना है. So what I mentioned is avoid use of any energy wherever you can. Avoid ironing your clothes. Is it possible to eat uncooked food for a single day? आज तो हमारी सारी फीमेल प्रोफेसर्स ने व्रत रखा है because of the करवा चौथ. See, they are also they won't be eating cooked food today. So how many of you can eat uncooked food? How can you take uncooked food for just for one day in a week? How many of you? Fruit salad, soup पी के हम लोग कितना रह सकते हैं? So it's avoidable because you will avoid the use of LPG. मत कह दो अपने मेस वाले भैया को कि भैया आज तो हमारे लिए आप सलाद काट के रखना बढ़िया वाला, मेक अच्छा मेयोनीज वाला सलाद, विल कम एंड ईट दैट. देखो जब गॉसिपिंग इस बात पे शुरू हो जाए इसका मतलब ये साफ हो जाता है कि तुम्हें समझ आ चुकी है बात. ठीक है, क्योंकि चर्चा उसी बात पे होती है जो चीज समझ आती है, वरना मैं बोल के चला जाता, इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. गाइस समझ आया? दैट कैन बी डन, यस और नो? And avoid use of ACs, refrigerators, geysers, which make actually significant big amount of content. हम पता है क्या छोटे प्लेयर्स को बोलते हैं ना, लाइट्स ऑफ कर दो, फैंस ऑफ कर दो. हाउ मच 9 watt LED, मतलब वो तो इतना छोटा सा इतना सा है. मतलब थिंक ऑफ ना which is taking 900 watts. एक बार आयरन करने पे ironing your clothes consume 900 watts of energy. तो you are comparing 900 to 9. 900 वाला बंद करो ना 9 वाले को, ठीक है, फिर भी comparatively you can use it more. At the house of, so because धीरे धीरे I am trying to convince my parents, ठीक है, but still I can quote this right now. So my native is in Bihar, okay? My native is in Bihar. So I have a very nice, healthy life over there. Delhi में तो नहीं है. I can मतलब because हमारी आदतें इतनी खराब हो चुकी हैं. But I have a very peaceful. I don't have a refrigerator in that house. I don't have a AC in that house. Okay, and I don't have a geyser in that house. So, and trust me, when I go there now, I feel very peaceful. किसी को please, anyone would like to join me, please, most welcome. I'll take you there. You'll find very good environment, pure water, pure vegetables, at least around my house, because I take care of that. Okay, so, and even Professor Chetan, I went to his house also. I have lived in his house for around 10-15 days with him. So I'll tell you something about Professor Chetan. Okay, so Professor Chetan is actually a professor at IIT Bombay, but he has taken 11 years of pledge for not going home. So last time he was at his home was 2020. The next time he will be at his home will be 2031. Why? ऐसा तो देखो भाई किसी प्रोफेसर के साथ तभी होता है या तो उनका स्क्रू ढीला हो गया हो या कोई जेन्युइन कारण हो. And trust me guys, this is a genuine reason of climate change. We cannot do so. That's why I joined these actions to drive some advocacy to the climate change. I should contribute as much as I can as an individual. So he travels in a solar powered bus. Okay, so I went to his home for some project in Bhopal we were doing with government of MP. Okay, so there is no AC, there is no there is no AC, there is no fridge, there is no geyser, nothing. And it's not like he cannot afford it. ऐसा नहीं है. He's a professor at IIT Bombay, अच्छी खासी earning है, ऐसा नहीं he cannot afford it. Even when I mentioned कि in my home at Bihar, even it's not like I can't afford it. I can afford it. My parents can afford it. So we all can afford it, but we need to understand कितना significant है use करना. Why? I do not live in Bihar for 365 days in a year. So that is we need to understand our usage, and that is what I'm trying to do it in my Delhi house also. Some ways. Anyway, जितना कर सकता हूँ उतना तो करूँगा. See, it is very important. See, it is very difficult to go for a behavioral change. I totally understand. I totally agree with you. But you have to start somewhere to drive at some point. Right? Yes or no? We need to start at some point. So, this where avoid can be possible, minimize the use of energy. M is for minimize. So 1/3 you save from avoiding use of energy. 1/3 you will save from minimizing use of energy. How you minimize? ठीक है, चलो you want to use AC suppose. Use 5-star ACs ना, which gives more efficiency and you consumes less energy. Use instead of these normal fans, use BLDC fan ना. Engineer, electrical engineer and electronics engineer in the house, raise your hands. एक नॉर्मल फैन कितना एनर्जी कंज्यूम करता है? 80. So suppose one fan in your home consumes 80 watts of energy, but if you minimize it and convert it into a BLDC fan, it will just consume 30 watts. So can you just check how much energy you saved? 1/3 you saved from avoiding it, 1/3 you are just minimizing it from 80 to 30, even more than 50%. So can you think of it that similarly go for high efficiency? If you cannot avoid it and it is really very extreme, go for 1/3 avoid, 1/3 minimize with high efficiency, 5-star rated ACs, 5-star ACs, refrigerators, but do not, उसमें भी avoid करो. Like refrigerator, if you want to buy it 5-star and have small ना, 30 liter, 40 liter, 50 liter. 30 liters I would say bare sufficient thing. ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब
My brother is there. He earns a good money. Not only what money ago he got married. I used to have earn money of good amount of 35,000. And when I am staying at Hyderabad, I just calculated how much I need. I have bought a 195 liter of fridge.
195 liter of fridge.
He bought 320 liters of fridge, which has 4 doors.
Okay.
I mean, 4 doors means it is a big fridge, sir.
Right.
So his consumption is only for one person. Even that
only for one person. Okay.
Yeah. Whenever I go, I ask everybody. One person is drawing 1.3 crore per month. I suggest him. I don't shy, sir. I suggest him, please go for 195 liter fridge.
Right. Even 195 is not necessary, na? Guys,
it is the smallest fridge
right,
for a house.
Right. But you need to understand कि 200 liters का फ्रिज तो ले लिया और उसमें अचार डाल के रख रहे हैं, मसाले डाल के रख रहे हैं. वाओ. मतलब अचार की जगह फ्रिज के अंदर नहीं है. तो मतलब फ्रिज बड़ा ले लिया, कुछ डालने को नहीं मिल रहा है तो अचार डाल दिए, मसाले डाल दिए. वाओ. मतलब पहले जैसे सस्टेनेबिलिटी में मतलब लोगों के घर में पहले फ्रिज नहीं होता था तो मसाले तो रखे ही नहीं जाते थे, अचार तो रखा ही नहीं जाता. आई हैव सीन मेनी पीपल डूइंग दिस, ट्रस्ट मी. So they do it. So even you want to use any resource, any application, go for a minimized usage of it. And when you do this 1/3 saving through avoid, 1/3 for minimize, then go for generate and go for generation for 100% solar power. 100% solar power. So let's giving you one example. Suppose किसी का कंजम्पशन 5 किलोवाट था, ठीक है, 5 किलोवाट कंजम्पशन था. व्हाट वी डिड, हमने उसमें से अवॉइड के एलिमेंट्स हटा दिए. तो सपोज लेट मी रिड्यूस इट टू 4 किलोवाट. ठीक है, अवॉइड हमने कुछ रिसोर्सेज ऐसे अवॉइड किए कि नहीं, दिस कैन बी अवॉइडेड, हम ये रिसोर्सेज अपने डेली लाइफ में यूज नहीं करेंगे, एंड करेंगे भी तो सिग्निफिकेंटली करेंगे. तो दैट ड्रॉप डाउन आवर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ एनर्जी टू 4 किलोवाट्स ओनली, राइट. एंड then I went for minimize, right? तो minimize करने पे मेरा another I'll go for a reduction. So suppose that 4 kilowatt drops down to requirement of 2 kilowatts. And how this minimize happened? I went for high efficiency, appliances, BLDCs, LED lights, refrigerators, 5-star, everything 5-star. So अब मेरा requirement from 5 kilowatt to 2 kilowatt पे आया. ठीक है? So before doing AMG, my requirement for installing solar power was 5 kilowatt का solar system. तो जिसके लिए उतना पैसा लगता, उतना resources लगते, उतने panels लगते, उतना area लगता, right? But once I drop down my understanding of using energy and significantly usage of it, मेरा requirement आ गया 2 kilowatt. So मेरा requirement for money slashed by 50%, requirement for space slashed by 50%, requirement for any major technical equipment, panel resource and anything slashed by 50%. So don't you think कि AMG करना जरूरी है? So AMG and generation, go for 100% solar generation, not like, and like guys let me tell you a myth कि जो लोग, वो वाला solar use करते हैं, जो, सोलर लगाया है और हम तो बिजली ग्रिड को भी बेचते हैं, गवर्नमेंट को बेचते हैं. Guys, that's a myth. You do not use solar energy. You use the fossil energy only. So go for 100% grid-free energy. That is really important. Go for your 100% energy, independence, and that becomes your asset for life. That becomes your asset for life. And जो भी लोग, trust me guys, जो भी लोग ये AMG नहीं करेंगे ना, after certain years वो AMG के बदले OMG तो करेंगे. Oh my God, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के बिल्स बहुत आए हैं. Oh my God, climate change हो रहा है. Oh my God, मेरी तबीयत खराब हो रही है. Oh my God, flood आ गया. Oh my God, ये बहुत consequences हो रहे हैं. Everything will be in terms of oh my God. So better to stay, instead of going for oh my God, go for AMG, right? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. And coming to the point where we need to synchronize our watches, because it is only 5 years, 64 days. So the difference you can see, I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll go to this technological aspect for climate clock now. So we need to synchronize our watches, and it is very important, to slow down this clock. Otherwise consequences हम सब face करने वाले हैं. And यहाँ से जाने से पहले यशु से जरूर मिलके जाना. And आप ये जरूर सोच के जाना कि आप क्या उसके लिए better करके जा रहे हो. Being an engineer, आप degree कर रहे हो, you are spending so much of resources, for doing this education. But what if your education is not solving a purpose? What if your technology is not solving a purpose? What if your any effort, is making you towards a dangerous side? Because any growth, any technology, so as mentioned by sir, growth is actually directly proportional to climate change. Jitta growth, utta energy consumption, utta climate change. But let us understand the magnitude for growth कितना important है. Let us understand कि growth क्या, कौन सी growth को avoid कर सकते हैं, किस growth को minimize कर सकते हैं, और किस growth में हम generation ला सकते हैं. Generation in terms of employment, localization, any terms, and generation in terms of usage of energy as well. Because again and again I am saying energy is the main culprit. 85% of your energy comes from coal, oil and gas. You need to understand this. This is a very important fact. So जैसे आप growth को, significantly understanding के साथ handle करोगे, climate change automatically handle होगा. Because you have a budget. Earth can heal itself. हमारी body का immune system है. हम बीमार पड़ेंगे. लेकिन body का immune system ऐसा होता है कि आप कभी-कभी वो कुछ diseases को fight कर जाता है. लेकिन आप अगर अपने immune system को ही weak कर देंगे, तो आपकी body fight नहीं कर पाएगी. So try and understand that excessive utilization of energy is actually, is making the immune system of the earth weak. And that's why it won't be able to heal itself. So you need to understand that, climate change is important, it is accelerating, and we as engineers, we as youth have to become the torch bearers for climate change, climate change awareness, its mitigation. Because awareness nahi hoga to you cannot solve any purpose. You cannot drive the IoT technology. Today, see, I'm an electronics engineer, I can give you a 3 hours, 4 hours lecture on IoT, give you programming, giving you practical hands-on experience with the IoT. I can give you, trust me. Call me some other day, I can give you it for a complete day. And I'll promise that it will be interesting. But कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी बिना पर्पस के ड्राइव करने का मतलब नहीं है. ट्रस्ट मी, इट इज वेस्ट ऑफ योर टाइम, इट इज वेस्ट ऑफ योर एफर्ट्स, इट इज वेस्ट ऑफ योर एनर्जी. यू नीड टू ड्राइव एनी रिसोर्स फॉर अ पर्पस. किस लिए कर रहे हो? यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड तुम्हारा एज इंजीनियर क्या ग्रोथ है. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द फिलॉसफी कि तुम एज इंजीनियर टेक्नोलॉजी को जो ड्राइव कर रहे हो, क्या वो कोई पर्पस भी सॉल्व कर रहा है? अदरवाइज यू वोंट बी क्वालिटी इंजीनियर्स. ट्रस्ट मी. सी, I have done a lot of industrial work. Okay, I can take you with some of my experiences. Okay, I am doing something for the climate change which is important for me, which drives my technology to the purpose. मैंने बोला my research, my technology, understanding is more for solar, renewable and clean energy. But what if मैं clean energy के advancement कर रहा हूँ and I don't have a purpose to solve? So here I drive my purpose with using clean energy solutions to climate change mitigation. This is where it comes. And how you can contribute, and its energy is somewhere, we all are user of energy despite of the background. कि आप electrical engineer हो, electronics हो, computer science हो, please drive your technology in a way that, suppose कि you are making technology feasible to a common citizen. There is a difference between this clock and this clock. There is a difference, and I'll tell you how my understanding for technology is driving, क्योंकि ये common लोगों को feasible है. कैसे? And let it be any technology. If it is IoT, you would like to work on IoT. IoT को इतना feasible बनाओ, इतना easy to understand बनाओ कि उसके लिए आपको किसी FDP की जरूरत नहीं पड़े. आपको आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी की अंडरस्टैंडिंग इतनी इजी हो कि anyone from even outside, despite of the background, a doctor can understand your technology. Bring that feasible with cost. उसकी cost cutting ऐसी करो. See, my purpose, अगर मैं clean energy solutions दे रहा हूं, तो it is not with the purpose कि नहीं, I want to make revenues and make, I am moving towards the entrepreneurship side now. My purpose is not to, give technology and earn revenue. No, my purpose is, maybe after 10 years you will find me working for citizen science, and my citizen science, the philosophy behind my citizen science is only to drive technology to a grassroots level. That's it, nothing else. I want to bring that technology technically be feasible ho, ठीक है, इकोनॉमिकली भी फिजिबल हो. व्हाट इफ अगर सोलर एनर्जी एक कॉमन, सन की एनर्जी एक कॉमन सिटीजन जिसकी अर्निंग पर कैपिटा इनकम अगर मिनिमल भी है तो वो अफोर्ड ना कर पाए. कितने भी आप आईओटी डिवाइसेस बना दीजिए, कितने भी आप आप मशीनरीज डेवलप कर दीजिए, कितनी भी इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन कर दीजिए, बट इफ योर टेक्नोलॉजी इज नॉट एक्सेसिबल टू योर कंट्रीमैन, इट इज समथिंग यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम. ट्रस्ट मी, you won't solve any purpose. And जिनको फिर purpose solve करने का ध्यान आता है ना, after 50 years of your professional life, उस टाइम तक आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. जब आपके पास potential है, तब आज आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो. But once you don't have a purpose, it's very difficult to survive. And everyone, each one of us sitting over here has a unique purpose. Trust me. Try, go to your hostels, go to your home, sit. Don't do anything, meditate and think what is your purpose. अगर आज engineering जबरदस्ती भी कर रहे हो ना, तो have some purpose. Trust me. अब कर रहे हो. See, you don't have an option to take a gear back and go back home. No, you have to do it. Purpose नहीं है तो purpose बनाओ. Important है. Once you have your, and that is why, see, I'm covering this. ये part नहीं है इसका, but I really want, because you guys are my junior. It's really important. It's my moral responsibility to do this. Once you will get a purpose, you will thrive to bring that technology. And मैं बता रहा हूँ, engineer is such a powerful term ना. Any engineer can bring a big change in the world because engineers are driving the world. Trust me, we are driving the world in terms of medical science, in terms of aeronautical science, in terms of automobiles, in terms of communication. Everything is driven by engineers. So once you get your purpose, you will thrive to get that technology. Once you'll thrive to get that technology, you will create, if you're not getting the purpose solved, you will create your own technology that solves your purpose, because you will be identical to that purpose only. कि मुझे यही करना है, मुझे इस purpose को solve करना है, I have to bring that technology to that purpose. You will bring your technology. Once you bring your technology, you can move to your own entrepreneurship side. And that where your dreams can become big. So this is something really important. I really wanted to conclude this through this session, that we as engineers have to become quality engineers. Quantity engineers का कोई मतलब नहीं है, ठीक है? And trust me, college plays a very important role, ठीक है? No matter which type, it's BITS Pilani or it is BK Birla Pilani, no matter. See, मैं भी इसी कैंपस से निकला हूँ, ठीक है? I really don't want to talk about what I have done till now, ठीक है? जो certain चीजें थी मैंने बताई, but you can do wonders. Trust me, you can do wonders. No fact कि you are from BITS Pilani or XYZ or you are from IIT or somewhere. Okay, you need to understand this. Sure. Okay. ये तालियां मेरे को बाद में बताना किस लिए थी. मतलब मेरे चुप होने की खुशी की थी. ओके, तो मतलब it's done now guys. So placement नहीं है या कुछ, don't never complain. See, तुम्हारा कॉलेज तुम्हें बहुत कुछ दे रहा है, you are not realizing it. And trust me, because these days I am traveling around the country. I have traveled to Odisha, Mumbai, Kolkata, Goa, everywhere. And because I'm working for the grassroots level, I am able to realize कि I am giving these discussions and speaker sessions at multiple places, and I'm realizing कि काफी जगह ऐसी है जहाँ पे ये resources भी नहीं है. तो college is adding on to your education. College is adding on to your precise, at least those facilities which are important for survival. जिसमें है, now bring your purpose, and trust me, once you have your purpose now, even in the campus, I promise one thing on behalf of my college, I can promise this. Once you have a purpose, each individual, तुम्हारा college वो resource लाने में कोई कमी नहीं छोड़ेगा. But bring purpose. That is more important. Purpose लेके आओ. ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है. Stop complaining about things. Stop complaining. Once this session gets over, I'll share my one of the experience in Odisha. I'll tell you. मतलब it's something which will remain with me throughout my life, and which is related to college only. So don't complain. Bring your purpose. I assure you, being the alumni of this college or being your senior, I promise you that resource या वो technology तुम्हें लाके दी जाएगी. But bring your unique purpose. That is more important. ठीक है? Done? Yes. How are you all? सेशन से पहले ज्यादा खुश थे या सेशन के बाद ज्यादा खुश हो? सच्ची? Raise your hands. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. It really means a lot कि आप लोग खुश हैं सेशन के बाद. So just taking now your 5 minutes of your time. Yes. क्योंकि अब मैंने purpose set कर दिया है. Now
Sachin, we have a lot of queries also. Queries and questions also. So okay. I will start from the faculty side. So lot of faculty members are sitting over here. You are taking.
So should I complete this climate clock part after that, or मतलब कैसे? I want to take questions.
It is your choice.
I would like to complete because then this will be done. So guys, So this is a climate clock, which is how we thought to drive climate change. Climate change का classroom session तो कोई भी दे सकता है. You know, multiple people. See, a lot of actions are being taken around the globe regarding climate change. How many of you are aware about Paris Agreement? Details. Paris Agreement नाम सुना नहीं. मतलब actually Paris Agreement क्या है? Nobody knows? Carbon emissions.
It is around 92 countries are there, and they are sit together, and they are trying to reduce the carbon emission in the environment. And out of that, I let you tell you everyone. So out of 3 positions are still vacant. No country is there who is in a first, second, or third position. It means first, second, third position अभी भी blank है, खाली है. कोई भी country उसमें अभी तक place नहीं हुआ है. Reason is there is a certain 4 criterias, 14 categories are there, and out of these 14 categories, no one is suitable till today. So it means who is third, who is fourth, who is fifth, who is sixth, seventh, and we are on exactly at कौन सी position पे हम? बताया सचिन ने अभी. We are on a 8th position. According to Sachin, it is on 5th position, but actually we are on a 8th position. हमसे आगे कौन है? DC Sharma ji. Why DC Sharma ji? Mr. DC Sharma ji, because of name will start from M. M is like Morocco. Yeah, DC Sharma ji से याद रहेगा आपको इसलिए. Your references, for my reference, it is like name of the DC Sharma ji. So first is Morocco, D Denmark, C Chile, Sharma ji it means Sweden. 4 countries, 4 countries है जो हमसे आगे हैं. We are on a 5th. 3rd positions are vacant. So exactly we are on a 9th position. मतलब 4 वो है, 3 वो vacant है, तो we are on a 8th position. So it means ये कैसे decide हुआ? It is a डी शर्मा जी का नाम याद रखिए. Mr. Start from the Mr. M Morocco, D Denmark, Chile, Sweden. तो इसको रेफरेंस डी शर्मा जी रेफरेंस में रहेंगे हमारे. तो ये सारे सब टाइटल उनके नाम से आते हैं. तो इट मींस कौन कंक्लूड करता है? इट इज इन अ पेरिस समिट.
So okay, so thank you sir for this very informating and methodology for learning it. But sad part is इस Paris agreement में इस बैठे रूम में maximum लोगों को नहीं पता है. How many of you know about Kyoto Protocol? Nobody. How many of you know about COP meetings happening around the globe? COP meetings at the back. Please raise your hands, otherwise वो survey मजा नहीं आएगा. So the part is that either we have heard it, but we do not understand it. And I'll tell you, 27 COP meetings हो चुकी हैं. These COP meetings are dedicated to focus on climate change only. फिर भी climate change slow हो रहा है? It is accelerating. No. So I'll tell you, no government, no policy can bring climate change mitigation unless each individual can bring some action to it. कोई भी गवर्नमेंट है वो 5 years 6 years में चली जाएगी, पॉलिसीज चेंज हो जाएंगे, स्टेक होल्डर्स चेंज हो जाएंगे, बट वी इंडिविजुअल्स विल रिमेन हियर. सो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट climate change has to be done by everyone, each one of us. Climate change mitigation, sorry, we need to understand this. So our idea was that we need to bring this energy mein Swaraj is something, because of energy consumption 85% energy is oil, gas and coal, and we need to bring clean energy to bring energy independence. So our idea ki pehle to let people be aware about कि क्या problem क्या है. We need to understand the problem, then we need to understand the context around it, and then we go for the technology. So my idea was like our idea for how we can bring technology to people in context to climate change. So this is the climate clock. So this climate clock tells you the time for 1.5 degree. अभी तो भूल गए 1.5 degree, right? And it's only 5 years. So once we talk about climate clock, it talks about climate change, it talks about the temperature, it talks about the time remaining, it talks about the carbon budget, it talks about the rate of carbon emission. Okay, so this has become an important tool where we need to fix a target to achieve any goal. We need to go for a target and timeline. So this is a climate clock. So I am not the creator of climate clock. The creator, creator of climate clock is one of my friend from US. His name is Gan Golan. Gan Golan. There is itself an organization, Climate Clock. So it's a very, very pure story behind it. His daughter was born, and that time those Paris agreements and everything was announced, and IPCC mentioned that this is the time left when we'll be lapsing our carbon budget, and these are the consequences for climate change. Then he thought to bring drastic changes. We need immediate and drastic action to to combat climate change. Otherwise, children like Yashu and many more would be affected, and we are not giving, we are not giving them a pure life. So that's where the concept of climate clock started and developed the climate clock. So this is a climate clock, and it has a major role in IoT. So how I am telling this now? So we can go for a brief level discussion maybe someday, because it has taken already a lot of time. It is about 2:12 now. So this climate clock is about the globe, not about just India, not about this campus, not about this area. It is about the globe. So for this calculation and bringing up this precise calculation of data for 1.5 degree and 5 years of timeline with a carbon budget and rate of carbon emission, we consider few monitoring aspects about atmospheric gases, about carbon emission, majorly on carbon emission, majorly on sea level rise, which is from around 25,000 locations around the globe. This data is being taken. And अब ये data कैसे drive हो रहा है? Through IoT only, because you use sensors, you use some application tool, you use some communication tool, you use some network, and you network all those IoT applications together, where you drive those 25,000 locations of multiple datas, and then you go for analysis of the data, and then this is a real-time clock, guys. This is a real-time clock. If just now, suppose the carbon emission reduces, this clock will automatically increase. So there is a proper war room for the climate thesis calculation, climate change thesis calculation. There's a brief theory going around it. There's a major calculation, at the back end, where this IoT technology is driving to get us this data. Now through this tool, so this is made through some display. So I'll tell you, broad level, bird view level of, how this climate clock has been made. Okay, so there is one display, there is one controller, there is one power supply to it. There are three major components, and there where you use a controller to drive the data and to display that data, what is the time left. Okay, so there's a P3 sort of a display. There is there's a Raspberry Pi used. Okay, and there's a lot of programming that has been done to make it reconnected with the real-time API of the climate clock, and this way this will show you. Oh, ये बंद हो गया है. बताना चाहिए था यार तुम लोगों को. नहीं, वो सर एक्चुअली मैं अभी इसको ट्रैवल करके लेके आया ना, तो it is working, right? So guys, I'll show you. It says 5 years, 265 days, and this is a 62% of youth feel eco-anxiety. What is eco-anxiety? Ecology, right? 62%. Now this 62% का data कहाँ से drive हो रहा है? We all are using smartwatches. We all have smartphones. Now it measures our anxiety level, our BP level, and everything. It monitors. Okay, and there is a brief survey that keeps on going, and we keep checking about कितनी नींद आ रही है लोगों. Good morning. पानी चाहिए? आपको पानी चाहिए? कोई बात नहीं. ठीक है, I'll just finish it now. So now this way, the data from my watch come to my phone. ठीक है, मेरा फोन है, ठीक है, so this data comes to my phone. Okay, now this phone, so there's an IoT device actually. You can say that this is an IoT device. This is my observing tool. There's a network supplied to it, and the data is being transferred to this phone, and there's a synthesis going on. Right? This way, there's a network built. Now this data is, being, taken by some application. Maybe suppose, maybe MI Fitband or Apple Watch. Maybe taking that data, data, and you have temperature sensors around. Right? So किस temperature? Because temperature is something moreover connected to your body level. Body change जो body phenomena है, उस पे आपका temperature का बहुत important role होता है. Your environment temperature. Now that data is feed into those communities for R&D, maybe in the Apple itself, or they maybe could be a third party R&D organization. That synthesis keep on reporting time to time through your data, and there could be millions of data like this. So this way the network is built, from a watch to a phone to a some application to a network to a API to our R&D organization, right? So this way an IoT network is built. So this is a climate clock, and it can show you multiple modes actually. We are feeding multiple data to this. I'll just show what it says now. What it says, मैं देख नहीं पा रहा, बोलो. It talks about your mental health. Then there's some information display. It talks about the damages that has been happened in Australia, and also the renewable integration. So how much any country or any making specific investment to the technology, it is a real-time integration going on. If we can share the screen, I can show you. And this is about how much of investment has been made to get the renewable energy integration, which is clean energy integration for combating climate change, right? So अब मैं बताता हूँ मेरा purpose कैसे drive हो रहा है. So this is a climate clock. This is a version 1 of the climate clock, which includes lot of coding, lot of skills, lot of controller programming, a lot of sequencing, lot of API connection networks and everything. And this clock costs around around $1 lakh. It's actually, it has even a bigger version of it. Okay, but this is around $1 lakh. Okay, so this is the cost. अब इस awareness के लिए क्या मैं कोई भी common व्यक्ति क्या वो purpose solve कर पाएगा? Making this awareness, and awareness is important from top to bottom, every level. So this where थोड़ी सी मेरी skills काम आई, where we have this technology. It tells you the same data, which says 1.5 degree, 5 years left, 263 days, and the time is ticking, right? And this is just in few thousand rupees. So this is just an example. I have a technology with lakhs of rupees, and I have some technology with few thousands. Now, where I have to bring a collective change, I have to bring the technology accordingly, right? So this technology is easy to understand, easy to convey your message, easy to set your context. Okay? So this way the technology has, so this has also the same, it shows the same data, it shows the real-time data, it shows the same controller, it has also the programming factor, everything is there. But it is totally on your purpose. Because I want to bring this collective change in mind, so koi bhi technology, see, when you have to bring a collective change, you have to reduce the cost for any resource. Tabhi anybody can use it, anybody can, now this, if I ask any college or any institution or any organization to have one climate clock and display at your building, and maybe the coming people will ask, and you can share information about climate change. How many of you agree, I can get a lakhs of rupees, for giving them the clocks? Very few, maybe 1, 2, or 3. But if I mention about this, I have installed around 1,000 of climate clocks around the country. See, this way how the technology is being driven. You solve the purpose, you drive your technology accordingly. So this way, so मेरा magnify कैसे हुआ? मेरा technology इस तरीके से magnify हुआ. Now if you go to any good school, any prominent school in Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Odisha, Goa, Jammu Kashmir, Kanyakumari, Northeast, you will find in all the IITs you will find one climate clock. You will go to Siri, you will find my climate clock. It's there. So this way we are driving technology to bring the climate awareness, guys. So that's why it is important to drive the purpose. Please, sir.
We can start.
Please, we can go ahead. बिल्कुल.
We all are happy to see you here. एंड मेरे लिए एक अच्छा मौका है कि ये मेरा स्टूडेंट है और इसके थ्रू हमने अपनी नॉलेज को एनहांस किया और रिसेंटली हमारे 2 रिसर्च पेपर एक्सेप्टेड हैं ऑन कार्बन एमिशन.
ग्रेट सर.
सो along with Dr. Anupama.
Wow.
And
good to see mathematics teacher coming around for climate action. Yes. No, it's really important.
मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि कौन सी इंडस्ट्री सबसे ज्यादा कार्बन को वो प्रोड्यूस कर रही है?
Sir, precisely I would say that 2 sectors, although every sector is on the very slighter differences there, okay, but what I feel is automobile industry is the most actually.
Automobile.
Yes, automobile industry is the most, and automobile when I say, so it comes to your cars, any transportation. It comes to your railways, it comes to your metros, it comes to your private cars, it comes to your bikes, anything. So the most because actually they are the catalyst to bring that carbon emission.
Yes.
क्योंकि transportation सबके लिए necessary है. More you purchase your cars, more fuels you use, and that emits a carbon on regular basis. Yes.
Actually बहुत सारे पॉइंट हमें पता थे, बट इस लेक्चर का शायद मुझे सबसे ज्यादा फायदा हुआ आज का, क्योंकि बहुत सारे ऐसे सेक्टर थे जिसको हमने आज तक टच नहीं किया.
जी
ठीक है. थैंक यू.
वेलकम सर.
Actually, IEA 2023 का सर्वे के अकॉर्डिंग it's construction and transportation that emits major carbon dioxide.
Agree.
Because they use the maximum energy utilizations are there in all the forms, not only the electricity, but in all the forms. So they are the 2 major segments.
I'll just why I put the transportation on the higher side. One, because construction is something. Guys, please listen to this. This is also important. Construction is something where the mass production is on, the localized production is very less. Now, the localized utilization is very less. Okay, either you will go for big size highways or big size roads. Okay, that the comparison between utilization is less. Okay, but I guess each one of us is owning one motor vehicle in our family, right? So localized utilization is most for us. Suppose for you building one highway for 300 kilometers of stretch, okay, that can take you a lot of emission every day. One time investment to the project and emission for a certain period of time, right? But once you utilize any of your motor vehicle, which will buy today, and that you will utilize for another 25 years, or maybe at least for 10-15 years, the emission will be, number of times the utilization will be high, because you will be burning fuel that much of time. Okay, so understanding of utilization between local and mass, that needs to be understood. So this way, I feel it is maybe, see, IEA, but you need to go with the IPCC report also, that where even IPCC states that the fuel consumption, the fossil consumption is the highest one in terms of transportation, in terms of cooking sector, in terms of, so everywhere in terms of electricity usage, the fossil energy is high. So we always keep, and obviously for any construction or for any automobile equipment or production, you need production of raw materials. For example, sir, your question is complete, I guess, done. I'm taking it forward. Suppose for any driving technology, solar panel किसी को बनाना है, ठीक है? Why always use? See, Professor Chetan is a solar man of India. With him, I have learned that the first rule to use solar energy is not to use solar energy. Why? Because you need to avoid using it. Reason being, उसको decompose करना है. But to build that solar technology takes lot of energy. You need to get lot raw silicon. You need to mine raw silicon. For mining, you need a lot of injectory equipments. Then you need to after that you need to get the pure silicon. So thousands of degree of temperature is being utilized to get the pure silicon. Then you will come to the cell, making a cell, making a solar cell. Then you will go for assembly. Then you will go for framing and everything. Then you will go for structure. Then you will go for wiring. Then you will go for power electronic semiconductor. So a lot of technology. So we need to understand for any technology, like if you talk about construction, if we talk about transportation, if we talk about energy usage, the raw material, extraction of the raw material is the highest, ample amount of energy is being used to, get that raw material. Okay, next question. Guys, let's up with the question. Yeah.
The drag of trying to reduce the drag of these wind, so that they are going for various simulations, so that the less drag rotors, so that they will generate energy. But how can we bring those energies to households? Because so many people, even if you even for a AMG, for the generator, it is not possible to convey everyone to go for a solar energy installation. Right. Because everybody has an anxiety that, okay, by tomorrow if there is any issue in my solar generation, I don't have energy. If I go to off-grid.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, when you say that the hybridization of the energy, so how can we convince them to use both? Both the solar and wind energy. If it is possible that there is some wind is happening at their area.
Okay, so there are very two important questions. One is like we have suppose wind energy. So how we are driving it in a way that can be used in household applications, right? Other way around is because solar के काफी consequences है. तो कैसे हम solar को we can use it in a way because we do not have trust on solar, right? तो कि अगर सन नहीं आया तो हमारा सोलर कैसे चलेगा, राइट? एग्री? किस को ये मालूम है कि जब सोलर पैनल का जो जनरेशन है, ओके, जब सूरज होता है, जब सनलाइट होती है, तब तो वो एनर्जी जनरेट करता है, बट जब बारिश होती है तो क्या सोलर पैनल एनर्जी जनरेट करता है? इट्स अ मिथ. इट्स अ मिथ. इट जनरेट्स एनर्जी. सो यहाँ पे क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? So it is one of our initiatives that we are driving it around the country, which is called Ek Kamra Solar Ka, where we guarantee people that with our design, there's a very basic design. We have counted the autonomy of the system, because आज के टाइम पे solar panel is सबसे सस्ता equipment that you have. In 2010 or 5-6, the cost for solar panel per watt used to be 100, 128, 130, 150 rupees per watt. Nowadays cost क्या पता है? Just 23 rupees, 24 rupees, 25 rupees, 28 rupees maximum. ठीक है? So if you double your generation side and count that autonomy accordingly during your system design, system planning, then your autonomy can be counted for your weather conditions as well, and as per your weather conditions, because you have to decide certain backup only, right? So as per the autonomy, as per the backup, and as per the ratio between the generation and the autonomy side, you can design your system in a way that your system can give you the 100% backup. Suppose if you require it for 15 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours a day, it will give you depending upon your generation and autonomy ratio. Okay? So that way you can design it. It is a myth that solar panel just does not generate energy during winters or rainy season. Generation is there, but maybe the generation may not be. Suppose you have 100% requirement, but 100% nahi hoga, to maybe it could be 60%, maybe it could be 40%. But if you double your generation side, it will be 80%. That will match your autonomy part. तो ऑटोनॉमी का मतलब क्या होता है मैं ये बता दूं पहले. कोई भी सिस्टम या कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी जब हम ड्राइव करते हैं, ठीक है, तो उसमें वी टेक केयर क्रिटिकल केस कि अगर उस टेक्नोलॉजी का वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो क्या होगा, ठीक है, और उस वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो के लिए हम एक बैकअप क्रिएट करते हैं, और उस बैकअप को वी काउंट इट फॉर अ सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. सो फॉर एग्जांपल सोलर पावर प्लांट है, ठीक है, तो सोलर पावर प्लांट में अगर हमको 365 डेज की एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि हमारा सिस्टम ऑटोनॉमी जो है वो 280 डेज के लिए होगा, ठीक है. रेस्ट ऑफ द बैलेंस डेज या 300 डेज जो भी है, 60 65 85 डेज जो हमारे पास बच रहे हैं, वो डेज जो है वी काउंट एज ऑटोनॉमी. तो हम क्या करते हैं, 85 डेज के एनर्जी बैकअप के लिए हम जनरेशन या स्टोरेज रेशियो को बढ़ाते हैं, ठीक है, so that matches our energy requirement. This is, I'll tell you one of my project experience. So I was engaged with one of the projects at Ranga Nadi Dam. Ranga Nadi Dam is in northeast. वहाँ hydroelectric dam है, okay. अब hydroelectric dam में you need to check for the sea levels, okay, atmospheric pressure क्या है, everything. There needs to be a communication system. North East एक ऐसा region है जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा technology अभी पहुँची नहीं है. You can't find, you know, a lot of MNCs over there. There is no possibility for that. And to go for a data-driven project, you need to find all those resources over there. तो अब challenge क्या था? Challenge was North East रंगा नदी डैम, यानी जहाँ पे डैम है वहाँ पे बारिश बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, right? Our challenge was we need to design a, you know, communication system in a way that should operate for 24/7 without interruption, and those weather monitoring data should feed into Gurgaon, New Delhi. तो अगर आपका डेटा एक दिन का भी इंटरप्ट हुआ तो इट्स अ बिग लॉस फॉर द कंपनी. Okay, so that's where we engaged. Maybe I don't have this photographs in this pen drive. I'll show it, or maybe you can find that article is there on Google as well. There's a design. So we designed a hybrid controller. Okay, hybrid control because sun नहीं है वहाँ पे, बारिश हो रही है, sun नहीं है, and the communication system has to drive on sun energy because most of the communication runs on DC power. There are two types of power, AC power and DC power, and because there are small semiconductor and small applications involved, तो उसमें DC power था, and DC power purely you can get through sun. ओके, तो सन से हमने ऑटोनॉमी काउंट किया, ऑटोनॉमी से हमने सिस्टम को इस तरीके से डिजाइन किया दैट द सिस्टम इज रनिंग ऑन 100% सोलर without interruption 24/7. It's just autonomy and basic system design you have to do. Maybe you have to do some modification with your power controller. Definitely, that can give backup to your system. So this is one of it. Coming to second part of your question. So guys, wind energy. So I'll tell you a lot of technology has come up. Bidirectional wind energy, windmills. There's a company called Ventrex windmills. Okay, those windmills, कुछ तो चल रहा है. Those windmills actually they make small size micro windmills that can be placed on your rooftop and that will generate energy. So maybe you're like, suppose if your rooftop, but you need to check for the wind speed again. So see, driving any energy in India, suppose you get to northeast में water resources आपको बहुत मिलेंगे, तो you can go for micro turbines. You go towards southern part or maybe Rajasthan side, Gujarat side, you get ample amount of wind energy. You can go for wind energy. Maybe जहाँ पे mediocre range आता है, where suppose areas like, you know, the border of Hyderabad and maybe touching to Maharashtra or and other places, ठीक है, जो offshore areas है वहाँ पे you can go for hybrid energy, where you have solar and wind hybrid power. Okay, so hybrid sort of energy can be utilized, but nowadays there are a number of resources. I have myself made one installation on a rooftop for a wind turbine in Visakhapatnam. So it is very easy. It is like people are driving it. See, प्रॉब्लम यहाँ अभी टेक्नोलॉजी से नहीं, वी हैव एम्पल अमाउंट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी नाउ. इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी है दैट आवर रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैन सर्वाइव फॉर अनदर 50-100 years विदाउट एनी मच R&D. ठीक है, दैट एडवांसमेंट हैज बीन डन. इट इज जस्ट द कॉस्ट फैक्टर बिकॉज दैट टेक्नोलॉजी नीड्स टू बी feasible with your cost. feasibility देखना है, ठीक है, so that is something more important.
Actually, when we I have personally experienced a problem, sir, because if we go to off-grid, we need to store.
Right.
Storage efficiency is also for a lead acid is worst. I mean my because you need to go either for lead, either your budget allows you can go to lithium,
Right.
or if you are not have but the writing times, I mean sorry, not the writing time, the charging times, the charging cycle. Once we charge it and completely drain it, the
Discharge it,
total
right.
cycle, but the cycles of the lithium is, I mean, lead acid is very much less.
So why you are not using lithium ion?
But the lithium is not produced in India. How can we
Again, the
efficiently use the? I mean, how can we monitor? I mean, can we go for a technology so that we will monitor how much of the energy is being consumed, because battery may not be
Of course,
consumed.
there's a
totally.
BMS involved. Na? The technology for so there's a BMS technology.
Yes, for lithium,
for
BMS
lithium
is there.
we have
BMS.
Okay, so we have similar. We have advanced controllers like this.
Yeah.
Advanced controllers or Suku controllers. Okay, those controllers are being used where it says what is the generation side, what is the consumption side, and then you can calculate the efficiency.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, but that too with the low cost solution.
Again, so what I'm saying is go for lithium ion. Na? With my experience, recently around last year itself, we installed 10 kilowatt of 100% lithium ion battery storage.
Yes.
Because uska DOD 100%. hai.
Yes.
90 to 100% you get the DOD.
Yes.
You get your number of charging cycles. And what we realized with our 1 year of experience, that the cost, there is the cost between lead acid and lithium ion. There's a marginal difference of just 5%.
Yes.
And within that putting that 5% cost advancement to a better technology, it gives you, the warranty for the lithium ion batteries for 10 years.
Yes.
Whereas lead acid is just for 4 to 5 years. Okay. And the charging cycle is much more than in compared to lithium batteries. There is this depth of discharge.
No,
Depth of discharge, DOD for the lead acid is around just 60-70%,
yes.
whereas in case of lithium ion batteries, it is up to 90 to 100%. So it's better to go for a 5% more investment is driving you more time and more energy efficiency. So you can go with that.
Yes, sir. I mean, I want to work in an area where even the inversion technology also plays role where the efficiencies will come into picture.
Inversion role.
I mean, we need to invert back the energy.
But losses would be more, na?
Yeah, and
even when you go for a on-grid solar power plant,
yes,
when you'll compare to generation to the feed-in grid, the losses are very much
yes.
there in the while you feed it to the grid.
Yes, sir. I mean, for the DC to AC inversion also, we lose out some energy.
Lots of energy is there.
Yeah, but
so we need to go for that purpose. That purpose can only be solved through power electronics.
Yes.
You need to design your power electronics in a way.
Yeah,
that
actually,
gives
I am
you
from EC background, sir. But my passion is there for power electronics. Actually, I mean, I want to solve the power electronics problems using IOT. That is what I am thinking.
See. Moreover, what I understand with power electronics is data. See, IoT is what is giving you data-driven, data driving. That's the only thing IoT is helping you there. But moreover, the designing part, when it comes to designing your complete. Suppose if you're designing a Z inverter. Suppose you're designing a desert. इसका मेरा फोन नहीं. Suppose you are designing a Z inverter. ठीक है, Z inverters की efficiency is up to 80 to 83%, right? Up 80 to 83%, and you know that what IoT can play role is you can go for a specific region पे तुमने उसका data analysis किया कि okay, the sun is इतना, generation side is इतना, watt per meter square का जो fall down है sun intensity का, उसकी वजह से generation you get some amount, then the operating voltage you know about it, then utilization voltage you know. You go for your theory between charging and discharging calculations. Okay? Based on it, what the losses you want to cover, that you can cover only through the power electronics. And while designing, you just can modify some semiconductors or some designing aspect which can thrive you to a better design for efficiency perspective. And which IoT is actually driving the data. That's it. Because nowadays you have wireless SCADA systems that are being operated in a way that you get those efficiency and every information on mobile itself on your generation and power plants. Any more questions? हो गया. Guys, thank you for having me here. It was really nice talking to you. मजा आया. Thank you, sir. And before I go from here, thanks to BKBIT for inviting me here, and thanks to Professor Shekhawat sir for inviting me and be a part of this program, and getting me this opportunity to interact with you guys. Hoping to have more networking ahead, and stay in touch. I'm also your alumni, so as a senior also you can stay in touch, and anything about opportunity discussions, college से related कुछ चाहिए तो मुझे बता देना, मैं जरूर यहाँ तक पहुँचा सकता हूँ. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening words. Now, I would like to request Dr. Vipin Kumar to present the memento as a token of love and appreciation to our esteemed guest. Now, I invite everyone for the article discussion.